And finally, Duck Dynasty is coming back this year. A&E announced the docuseries revival Wednesday. It'll feature Willie and Corey Robertson and their now adult children, who first appeared on the original show in the early 2010s. The couple compared the return to a homecoming, saying they can't wait to get cameras rolling again on all our new adventures, or perhaps misadventures. The network gave its thumbs up to 2 seasons of the reality show. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 6:08. Here's your forecast from the Weather Channel.
Well, the cold retreating with a blanket of clouds over us this morning. Temperatures are up, and we'll move today a little bit. Mid-20s. Still may feel below zero, especially this morning. Now, we'll get some snow showers tonight and tomorrow. Don't look like big accumulations here, but up in the North Country, especially into Oswego County, there could be multiple inches. I'm meteorologist Ray Stijik at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, it's 7 degrees under cloudy skies at 6:08. The Jets have settled on their next head coach in sports. According to ESPN, Detroit Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn is returning to the team that selected him in the first round of the 1994 draft. After being hired as the Jets head coach, the deal is a 5-year contract, meaning he is tied to the organization through 2029. The 52-year-old joins Walt Michaels as the only 2 players in Jets history to coach the team. The Green and White are still searching for a new general manager. Former Lions executive Lance Newmark, Bengals senior personnel executive Trey Brown, and Broncos assistant GM Darren Mogi are among the candidates. The Bengals are reaching into the college ranks for their next defensive coordinator. ESPN reported on Wednesday that Al Golden is expected to join Cincy in the same role. The former Notre Dame coordinator helped lead the Fighting Irish to the national championship against Ohio State. The 55-year-old spent 3 seasons as ND's defensive coordinator and replaces Lou Anarumo, who held the position in Cincinnati for the past 6 seasons before getting fired earlier this month. And Ludwig Aberg is sitting atop the leaderboard after the first round of the Farmers Insurance Open at Torrey Pines in San Diego. Aberg is leading the field by 2 strokes after shooting a 9-under 63 in the opening round. Danny Walker and Hayden Springer are tied for second at 7 under par. Lanto Griffin, Aldrich Potgeider, Zach Blair, and Zach Johnson are tied for 4th at 6 under. Defending champion Matthew Pavone is tied for 100th at 1 over par. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 6:11.
The new year means new health goals, not just for your body, but your finances too. Your personal info is in so many places that are outside of your control. It only takes one mistake, and not even your mistake, to expose you to identity theft and lost funds. If your identity's stolen, LifeLock's restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your subscription money back, and resolve to make identity, health, and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Visit LifeLock.com and save up to 40% off your first year with promo code CLAY. Terms apply.
Hers weight loss is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions apply. Wegovy and Ozempic are not compounded.
Everyone's talking about the breakthrough of weight loss drugs, but too few can access or afford them. Hers is changing that. At forhers.com/radio, you can access doctor-trusted weight loss treatments tailored to you, like GLP-1 weekly injections with the same active ingredient as Ozempic and Wegovy, or oral medications at a fraction of the price. That's right. You'll save up to 91% per month on compounded semaglutide based on pricing through Hers. The same active ingredient as the name brand drug at 91% less. There's no hidden fees and no membership fees. Just one low, transparent price. And the process is 100% online. If prescribed, your personalized plan ships free directly to your door. Get started at forhers.com/radio to access affordable doctor-trusted weight loss plans that put you first. That's forhers.com/radio. FORHERS.com/radio.
When you choose Bassett Healthcare Network for your surgical needs, you'll get amazing care from a devoted team of surgical specialists. Bassett surgeons offer many advanced services, including minimally invasive and robotic procedures. Surgeons are accepting new patients at convenient locations in Cooperstown, Oneonta Oneonta, Delhi, Little Falls, and Herkimer. Choose a remarkable Bassett surgeon and discover a team you can trust. Visit bassett.org/remarkable surgeons to learn more.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? It seems impossible to find them. Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, it's Bill Keeler from WIBX. Join Newport Mayor Mark Butler and restaurateur Rocky Fiato for the NFL Conference Championship Tailgate Party. $30 ticket gets you a tailgate buffet plus a chance at prizes. Benefits Feed Our Vets, Herkimer County Humane Society, and Herkimer County Hunger Coalition. The Conference Championship Tailgate Party, Sunday at Waterfront Grill, sponsored by WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, celebrating 100 years in 2025.
Hey, it's Polly from Big Frog 104 with the perfect solution for your manufactured or mobile home problems. John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories in Oriskany Falls. If you've had issues with your furnace, now is the time to think about replacing it. Don't wait until next winter. Your skirting around the home could have taken a little beating. John has skirting too. With energy costs continuing to rise and no relief in sight, you need to make sure your mobile or manufactured home is energy efficient. John has new doors and windows in stock as well. Find it all at John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories.com.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually, in fact, true. How would you like up to $4,000 of free windows? And when I say $4,000 of free windows, I mean $4,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $4,000 to get $4,000 free. You just get up to $4,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of these restrictions are income-based, and you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
The new year means new health goals, not just for your body, but your finances too. Your personal info is in so many places that are outside of your control. It only takes one mistake, and not even your mistake, to expose you to identity theft and lost funds. If your identity's stolen, LifeLock's restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your subscription money back, and resolve to make identity, health, and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Visit LifeLock.com and save up to 40% off your first year with promo code CLAY. Terms apply.
It's time to start the program. It's time to earn our pay. It's time to meet the people on the Keeler Show today. It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, good morning. And we're live from the city of Rome, where it's chilly. What are we at right now? It is 7 degrees.
We're
here.
at 7 degrees, but I got to say, I think it feels a little bit
it's
warmer.
110 in the lobby of the Capitol Theater.
Thank you, Rick. Woo!
It is warmer than hell in here, Rick.
I love it.
I told Rick, make sure
Love
you
it.
put us in a place where it's warm, because I don't know. My bones are cold these days.
You can't get warm.
Now, this is hot. Senator Joe Griffo is with us right now. Senator, good morning.
Good morning. I'm going to give you a correction on the weather because it's very balmy out there. It's 12 degrees.
Oh, okay.
Real feels about 2. But
what app
how
are you
seeing?
using?
12? How do you have 12? Because I'm showing 7.
I got AccuWeather on right here.
I've got Weather Channel.
All right. So see, even in the
pull that mic up, you got to be right on it.
Even in the app world, they can't get along.
That's right.
So
I mean, how do we not get that right?
So I got 12 degrees on AccuWeather.
I like 12 better than 7.
Do you remember when we used to call 315-797-6111? And
867-5301.
Well, you in Rome, maybe you guys didn't call it, but if you were in Utica, you called Savings Bank of Utica Time.
We just listened to you.
That's right. Good point. Okay, this is Joe time. Explain how this thing works here, Joe.
So it's something that we have been doing for a while now, coming into various community locations. Maybe this needs a blue pill or something, this mic. What do you think? So it's kind of like coming down. So so something that we
you
thought.
You should be able to let go of it now.
Okay, thank you.
Get your head back.
We're adjusting.
I feel like I'm in a plane. How's it sound?
Are you
right?
comfortable? Are you comfortable like that, or you want it a little higher?
Well, what do you got that you can make it higher? You got something good today?
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, I like it.
Joe's going with the 70s drug culture references. Good morning.
Or the
Good
Woodstock
morning. How
drug
are
culture.
You? Yes, that's it.
I
wonder if we got nominated this year. What do you think? But
we'll find out. Today is Oscar. By the way, we're here because the Capitol holds their Oscar nomination party today.
It's great to be here in Rome,
yeah.
and Joe Time is just an opportunity to come out in community places and have people come out and interact with us. We always do. We've done a variety of things: coffee shops, public facilities. So that's what we're here for. And but I always want to thank WIBX. You guys do a great job, obviously, covering it when we do this occasionally, because that gives the individuals who can't make it out an opportunity to listen in and maybe send a question, something like that.
Yeah. You can call through Davey. Davey's back in the studio. Davey, good morning. Everybody say hello to Davey.
Hello, Davey.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Davey. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well. And Davey's back in the studio, and you can see him on YouTube. We are on YouTube this morning on the app. Of course, the app is playing
Sorry,
a disclaimer.
I'm not there.
The app is playing a disclaimer that says, sorry, we can't play the NFL football game over and over again.
When was there a game?
I'm kidding. It was what it was on Monday.
Oh, okay.
The app is working. Everything's working, and we're up and running. Obviously, AM, FM. It's almost like we're not 100 years old, this radio station.
You look good for 100.
Bad
Not
news. I
bad.
have to.
What happened?
We don't have no phone lines.
We don't have any phone lines?
No.
How is this? The Frog has been down for a week.
Yeah, I'm working on
More
it.
than that, you mean their
All
phones? Right. Oh, it's been a process. It's been brutal.
I'm telling you. You can't call Davey. You have no phones. We're gonna have to do the phone calls from here.
From here, yeah.
Phone
There's a
calls
couple
from here.
people
Maybe
we've got to
they
get
could
Bill's
text,
number to.
All right. Either way, we'll work it out, Davey. Thank you for that great news.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Can we
Davey,
just
with
call-
the latest.
Can we just call Davey?
We could. We could.
All
Tell
right, Davey's
me.
cell phone number is 315.
Tell me, Joe, your thoughts on the governor's budget.
Well, I think it's going to be an interesting couple of months in Albany. The hearings will start next week. We begin now. The way the process works is the governor proposes, announces and proposes her budget. We immediately go into a number of hearings relative to subject areas like education, higher education, environment, economic development, taxation, local governments. So those will all be going on probably for another month now.
Okay.
They'll start now and go to probably the third or fourth week of February. Then from there, we go into deliberations. You'll start having each house of the legislature will propose a budget. We call them one-house budgets, give you an idea where they stand, and then it really becomes the negotiation between the executive and the legislature. Governor's budget is about $252 billion. It's over, I think, $16 billion more than last year.
It's up about 8, almost 9%. Is it 8%?
it's unsustainable relative to from a spending perspective at this point in time. You're talking about $250 billion right now that she's proposing to spend here in New York. We've always talked about how when you look at more populous states, and we'll fine-tune the statistic for you, but we do spend more than Florida and Texas combined, recognizing that in one state they have a 2-year budget, but still, when you put it all together, we're spending higher. In fact, more recently,
more than Florida and
Texas.
Okay,
and then beyond that, though, we're
that's
spending.
the two red states that tend to.
Well, wait a minute. Though.
We're not spending more than California.
We're not, but we're spending more per person than California.
Okay.
So, and I'll get that statistic for you.
That's because everybody, Cuomo and her both want to compete with California. Like, we can give out more benefits than California.
Yeah, and I just think that, look, I appreciate the fact that she's finally heard our voices and the voices of the people of New York in recognizing that we have an affordability issue, we have a public safety concern that the people have expressed right now. When you look at the city and what's taking place down there, your daughter's down there, and I mean, it's just, there's concerns. So, but the approach is where we differ. To come back with a one-time $300 check that's going to help you beat inflation is ridiculous. Yeah. We should be looking at reducing the tax code. She's actually indicated that the reason she can do this is because we had excess sales tax, and she wants to give it back. Well, let's lower the sales tax potentially. Things of that nature is what we should be debating. And
can I ask a fair question?
Sure.
A fair question. When Pataki gave that check back, everybody got like a $300 check. What's different than
No, you know what's
that?
different is Pataki actually recognized that, and there's a variation of that, recognized at the time that school taxes were high. So how can we help people? So they gave back they started the STAR program and gave back a rebate check. Now, I granted one of the benefits of a check is the governor's name is on it and people are getting, oh, wow, I got a check back. But he also, to his credit, later tied it in to your permanent taxes, saying that the way this will go is you file, because he was worried that in some cases districts at the time were really, because they had this now protector in there, that they were actually spending more, and they people weren't seeing the real benefit. So that's why they discussed, what's the best way to do it? Attach it directly to your taxes, or give a rebate check.
Would you agree that if you're going to give us a rebate, which is kind of what she's claiming, 300 is not enough?
Well, absolutely.
I'm thinking maybe 2,000-3,000, maybe.
Well,
would you be good with that, Andrew?
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, we'd be all right.
She's indicated that if you look at everything she's proposing, the middle class tax cut, which is something that we actually initiated when we had divided government.
Yes.
And if you look at that, if you look at the child tax credit, everything like that you'll get about a $5,000 savings to a family. But again, it's the approach.
Yeah.
I mean, we do need more child care. We do need to recognize the burden on families and parents. But I think there are different and better ways to do this. As you indicated, a one-time $300 check is going to be, you're going to fill up the gas tank a few times, and that's about it.
I already have your first comment and
from
question.
Lance?
This is Mike. So between the governor and the assembly and the Senate, we will have the Democrats arguing with the Democrats, arguing with the Democrats.
Very good point.
And that is really where we're at in New York.
And the problem with that is, and the Speaker gives you a perfect illustration. Recently, the Speaker of the Assembly came out and said that he supported the middle class tax hike. Excuse me. See, that's a Freudian slip.
Yeah.
That he actually.
We want a middle class tax hike.
So he supported. Well, I was talking about the Speaker, obviously.
Yes.
So he would support the tax reduction, but he wanted it targeted for lower income individuals. And in my opinion, everybody needs relief right now.
Yeah.
And we don't need one-time relief. We need all-time relief. You need that.
Well,
permanent.
and you think about the middle class. The middle class is they're the ones that are getting hurt hardest.
Right.
They have nowhere to turn. There aren't benefits coming their way. Maybe considering, and they're the ones that are probably going to put that money right back into the economy. Although $300, where are you going?
So we're looking at all of the different elements now of what her proposal is. Again, it's a starting point. Education aid, I've been trying to talk to some superintendents. We will call on the expert here, Dr. Timms, over the next week to get his evaluation as to what he sees. They're making some progress. For instance, she put in, and again, she's listening, and I think a lot of it is motivated, obviously, by her political future. With her poll numbers being so low, there's an opportunity here to say, hey, what am I going to do to address these issues? Again, I just think the approach is wrong. Like, for instance, in school aid, she's talked about a 2% increase for all districts, where last year she wanted to do away with that, remember, with Save Harmless. But even that may not be reflective of the actual additional cost that are being experienced by these school districts, right?
Well, and 2% for all, that means we're giving to those Westchester County schools that are just what are we going to do with the money that we have coming in based on home values to begin with? They're offering 5 or 6 different language opportunities, and meanwhile here we're trying to keep Spanish and French alive.
Right, and it'll be interesting. Like I said, I'll have that conversation. Yeah. I like to rely on people that have that expertise, like Dr. Timms and others, so that we can get their perspective of what they feel right now from the beginning. I had a great conversation with the Commissioner of Education. In fact, we'll be hosting her again. She agreed to that. Actually, to her credit, she came to me and said, are we going to put the thing together with your school district? Yeah. So I will do that. And we'll had some great conversations over the last 2 weeks with many of the agency heads as well as the governor, and we can get into some of that if you want to, like on the corrections issues and things of that nature.
Right. Well, one question I have is with
we were trying to get Controller DiNapoli, and we'll get him on for you because he did issue a statement actually himself yesterday, if you saw, and Alex, maybe you can pull this up. We got Alex Gerald up this morning pretty early, huh? What do you think? So,
good man.
But if we can get his early indication was that the spending is coming at a much higher rate than he believes we can afford.
Well, that's
coming from the Democrat comptroller.
That was my question: has she indicated in any way, form, or fashion where the additional revenue may come in to make up that $16 billion increase?
Well, I think they're looking at some fee increases and potentially, I guess, taxes on higher income people. But again, I don't know that we should be putting additional tax burdens on anybody in this state at this point in time. And we have to re-examine and redirect our priorities. I think it's easy if we can really do this. We're not going to ever be competitive, in my opinion. And you hear everybody talking about that, California, New York, and we got to get away from that.
I'll bet we're losing a lot of money on the thruway. In terms of the number of people from outside other states that are not they're not paying attention. You miss the toll booth. They're getting it in mail. Well, what I'm saying is they missed the toll at the toll booth.
Yeah,
and they're getting the thing in the mail. And they're not paying it.
I would say they evade the toll.
That's right.
Yeah. So
maybe New York also needs an external revenue service.
Well, they're working on that right now. One thing that would resolve that is the governor meeting with other governors and coming into some interstate agreements.
How are we not there yet?
Exactly. I agree with
or
you.
Before this new system went into place.
Before everything went into place. Right. And meanwhile, what have we done with all of those employees that were in the booths? Chances are they weren't laid off, and do they have enough to do today?
But that's another issue that I think we really need to address again. Very similar to what they're doing in the federal government.
By the way, that issue, the toll booth thing is. It has left the shipyard. There's
nothing left.
In fact, not only has it left the shipyard, but you can't even get a toll booth anymore because there's one, I think, or two that were kept for museum purposes. Because I had some individuals who are collectors, antiquers.
I wanted to buy one.
They want to buy one, but we can't find them anymore, so they're all gone.
I wanted to buy the exact one in Little Falls where when I came through at 1 a.m. in the morning, the big guy that was running the booth was sound asleep. I don't know how he fell asleep on that floor. He had to have, his butt had to come up against the wall, and his feet had to go
he'd
up.
probably been working on it for years.
I don't know how he got up. I don't know how he got up. The booth wasn't that big.
What's happening here today, but Rick Lewis is walking around. He's drinking liquid death.
What is that?
He kind of looks
water?
like something from the Christmas Carol, the Ghost of Christmas Future.
He does.
So,
I
don't know where Rick went right now. But
we have a story, too, this morning that we'll talk about. I don't know if you saw any of it last night, but on Wheel of Fortune, a contestant knocked over Ryan Seacrest and knocked him right to the ground.
That's awesome.
Because I got to tell you something. Some of those,
intentionally.
Well, maybe not. It was an accident, and he was excited. But they're making a big deal out of it.
He got assaulted,
as you might imagine, only because Pat Sajak would have drop kicked the guy.
He probably would have, or tasered him or something.
That's the difference. But anyway. That story, we got a bunch, and obviously we have a bunch of people coming in this morning. There's a lot going on, and in 1 week we're going to be doing CNY Wing Wars, Joe.
Exactly, and the
which
crazy
is a
thing about
great
that
cause.
is that the first month of the year will be over by then. I just
Think
can't
about
believe
that.
how quickly time goes.
Well, that is next week on the 1st.
Maybe
so
when we're 100, that's what happens, right? Time
I
just
guess,
flies.
as we get older. We're talking about the CNY Wing Wars.
Chubbuck family.
And it is a great charity, the Joseph Michael Chubbuck Foundation.
Correct. Barb and Joe, they do a great job with that.
She's done what so many parents have to do when they lose a child, and in this case, he was older, but way
Served our
too young to
country
go,
and,
a veteran, and sometimes you have to do something to make you feel like you're allowing your son or your daughter to live on, and that's what they've done here.
And it's a benefit to society too. What they're trying to do is something good for others.
So if you're a family that's getting treatment in upstate New York for cancer, there are travel expenses. There's overnight stays. There are, in some cases, these are extended. A lot of times, people have to take an exit from their workplace for a while. So this fund helps those people. It's a great organization. And we'll be there at Harts Hill Inn next Saturday from noon until 3.
Are they sold out yet?
Not yet.
So let's go. Buy those tickets because it's for a great cause and you'll taste some great food.
You can, by the way, you get pizza, you get a drink when you come in, and you get to taste all the wings. Yeah. It's cool. 315 to buy tickets, 315-339-5993, 315-339-5993. I'm mentioning all the people who are involved as, quote, celebrity judges, even though they would never mention my name. Joseph Griffo is a judge.
The biggest celeb of all.
Sheriff Rob Mashel is a judge. Assemblywoman Marianne Buttonshun is a judge. Jason Paulus is a judge. And Bill Vinci is the guy who does that
Empire Plate.
He goes around and he tastes food. So we'll all be there and all judging, and sometimes it gets a little heated.
Yeah.
Both
with the wings and the conversation.
That is true. And sometimes the wings are a little bit out there.
Yeah, some interesting wings, as you remember.
All right, we'll break. Andrew has news coming up in a second. Stand by. We'll come right back. It's a Thursday morning. We're live in Rome at the Rome Capitol Theater. Later this morning, by the way, we have free coffee and free donuts here. Come on over and take advantage of that.
While they last.
And later on this morning, we'll have Rick explain what's going to go on. They do their watch party for the Oscar nominations, which have been delayed 3 times, I believe, because of the wildfires.
And I actually thought they may be delayed again because you have an extensive fire that just started again there.
That fire was in
a new one that just started, right?
In a matter of a minute, that fire was spreading by the acre.
Have
I mean,
they
just
determined
think of
it to be arson?
You had at this point. I don't even think they're even close to that as of yet. But the problem is those Santa Ana winds.
Yeah, they're
bad. We're talking 60, 70 mile an hour winds, and when you think about this, the thing is spreading by the minute, by acres by the minute.
That's crazy.
You cannot. There's no fire company that can put the.
And it affects a lot of people, not only those in those areas of the city. And this is really a sad situation when you look at the city of Los Angeles. It looks like Armageddon there.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's the air quality too. The air quality and that. Think about what we were talking about with the Canadian fires.
Yeah.
Remember in our area?
Probably the whole West Coast.
It's just
well,
terrible.
then you follow those. In this case, the Santa Ana winds are blowing out to the west. Which does help a little bit, but at some point it gets picked up by the jet stream and comes right back east. So, places like Colorado and Nevada.
And you got 10 inches of snow on Bourbon Street.
It's crazy.
That's
right
amazing.
now. This is really
crazy times.
I always believed in global freezing, and I think we're here.
I think we all need to repent.
Let me break. Hold tight. Coming right back to Rome Capitol Theater in a second at WIBX.
The new year means new health goals, not just for your body, but your finances too. Your personal info is in so many places that are outside of your control. It only takes one mistake, and not even your mistake, to expose you to identity theft and lost funds. If your identity's stolen, LifeLock's restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your subscription money back, and resolve to make identity, health, and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Visit LifeLock.com and save up to 40% off your first year with promo code CLAY. Terms apply.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. News time, 6:37. I'm Andrew Derminio. Right now, somewhere between 7 and 12 degrees here in the city of Rome. Your full weather forecast is coming up. 7 people have been taken to the hospital due to a fire in Syracuse. Crews were called to battle the blaze at a residence on Grant Boulevard last night and arrived to find smoke and flames pouring from the building. There was a total of 11 people inside at the time, and 7 of them needed to be treated for smoke inhalation. The fire is believed to have been caused by an electrical malfunction. A 41-year-old Utica resident who has a lengthy rap sheet has been arrested. The New Hartford Police Department reported that Joe Lopez has an extensive criminal record with 13 active warrants issued by the department. According to New Hartford Police, Lopez was involved in a theft investigation at Home Depot on Tuesday. Lopez and his co-conspirator, allegedly, 53-year-old Aaron Holden of Utica, allegedly stole over $500 worth of merchandise from the Home Depot store. Lopez's warrants arise from multiple incidents of merchandise theft from retailers such as Kohl's, TJ Maxx, Dick's Sporting Goods, and Home Depot. A wanted fugitive from Virginia has been taken into custody after being captured in the village of Whitesboro. According to the United County Sheriff's Office, 41-year-old Simba Brown from Richmond was apprehended on January 21st. In mid-January, members of the United States Marshals Service, New York, New Jersey Regional Task Force worked to locate and arrest Brown. He is currently on parole in Virginia for a manslaughter conviction in New York and was wanted by Chesterfield County, Virginia Sheriff's Office on several charges. The New York State Nurses Association is calling for members at Oneida Hospital to receive a fair contract. The association says before the last contract expired on December 31st, hospital management threatened to stop bargaining. Nurses say they want clear and enforceable staffing standards and also improved wages and benefits. A spokesperson for Oneida Health says the hospital values all of its nurses and is looking forward to working out a deal. And the Syracuse men's basketball team comes up short of a second straight win following a double-digit loss on the road. J.J. Starling led the Orange with 25 points, but his squad still fell to the Clemson Tigers by a final score of 86-72 last night at Littlejohn Coliseum in South Carolina. Eddie Lampkin added 14 points for SU, whose record is now 9 wins and 10 losses. Up next for Syracuse is another ACC contest at home against the Pittsburgh Panthers on Saturday. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time, 6:41. Here's your forecast from the Weather Channel.
Well, the cold retreating with a blanket of clouds over us this morning. Temperatures are up, and we'll move today a little bit. Mid-20s. Still may feel below zero, especially this morning. Now, we'll get some snow showers tonight and tomorrow. That'll look like big accumulations here, but up in the North Country, especially into Oswego County, there could be multiple inches. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now it's 7 here in Rome outside the Capitol Theater, somewhere between 7 and 12, Joe, at 6:42.
Joe's app cannot be right.
12. Yeah, I see it. I see what you're
And
looking
what does
at.
mine say? What does mine say? I've lost it. My app says 7.
7.
And who does our forecast?
The Weather Channel.
The Weather Channel, Joe. You've been
Don't
overruled.
doubt Ray Stajic. Don't you do it.
Actually, I think we ought to go with Joe because I'd rather it be 12 than 7.
Yeah.
Wouldn't we?
Well, it's about 90 in here,
Yeah,
so that's
yeah.
good.
It's 2.
What's that?
The real feel is 2, though.
The real feel is 2. Is that what they're going with now? Real
Yeah,
feel?
yeah.
What do we call it? We
right.
say the actual, what do we say?
I just say
It,
right now.
it feels like.
Oh, it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real feel just
on the football game the other night, they're like, you know what the real feel is? I'm like, what is the real feel?
Upon further review.
Why do they got to change everything?
Everything's got to change.
Always been feels like.
We're with Senator Joe Griffo. We're at Rome Capitol, and it's me, Andrew. Alex is over there. Rick Lewis is in here somewhere. He's passing out this drink called Liquid Death. We'll talk about that. Senator Joe Griffo. We have a lot to get to. We'll come right back. I want Rick in a second to explain what's going on here today at the Rome Capitol Theater, and we'll do that coming right up at WIBX.
Looking for an insurance agency that treats you like family? Look no further than WB Payne Insurance, a family-owned and operated agency serving the community for over 65 years. At WB Payne Insurance, they understand that family comes first, and they're here to protect what matters most to you. Whether it's your home, your car, or your business, they've got you covered. WB Payne Insurance. Learn more or get a quote today by visiting WBPayneco.com. WB Payne Insurance, protecting your family like it's their own, with smart solutions to save you money.
Anthony Constantino. He's a local boy, a businessman, and a job creator, not a politician. He's the CEO of Sticker Mule. When he put the country's largest Vote for Trump sign on the roof of his building, the Democrat mayor threatened to put him in jail. But Anthony Constantino stood strong for free speech and Donald Trump. He refused to take down the sign. Now he's running for Congress to fill the seat being vacated by Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. Constantino will fight to put our missile defense at Fort Drum, to protect our apple and dairy farmers, and to bring jobs and affordable housing back to upstate New York. Urge your Republican and Conservative Party leaders to support Anthony Constantino in the upcoming special election.
I'm Anthony Constantino, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Constantino for Congress.
We're your complete appliance center, Dave Hayes.
Level up your cooking capabilities with a KitchenAid electric induction range. The induction cooktop offers precise control for a full range of cooking techniques. In the oven, even heat, true convection, and air fry mode allow you to brown and crisp your favorites. See the range that combines the precision of induction with the power of air fry at Dave Hayes Appliance Center, 5168 Commercial Drive, Yorkville, or online at davehayesappliance.com.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Hello, everyone in Central New York. This is Dave Letterman, your old TV pal. Remember me? I'm supposed to say something witty and funny here about Bill Keeler, but I've got nothing. Ever see a picture of this guy? That's a joke in itself. Anyhow, here's Keeler on WIBX.
I got to tell you, I really think he sounds different with the beard.
Who's that?
Honest. Letterman. I think he sounds different. Oh,
yeah, well, it weighs
with the beard. It gets caught in his lips or something. That's a big beard.
Still wearing the beard?
Still wearing the beard on that
Still wearing the beard?
He still has the beard. He does. Rick Lewis, we're going to welcome him in here this morning. Hi, Rick.
Rick E.
Lewis, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Rick is with the Capitol Theater. And explain, if you would, you can kill that music, Davey. If you would, explain what this day is.
Well, you know, I used to work at the TV station, WTR, and ABC would always play the Oscar nominations in the morning.
Right.
And then I started working here, and you know, they were really big on the Oscars at the cinema, which is closed due to the tornado. And
the cinema is still closed.
Yes. That's why we're doing the nominations next door.
Oh,
but how it started was I said, well, look, they do this Oscar nominations in the morning. We're big on the Oscars. Let's just
do a party.
Let's do the party. What time's it start? I go, well, they never tell you.
Usually around 8:30, though, right?
Right. Usually around there. They
somewhere
usually
in there.
start leaking stories around 8. So that day, it was like minus 15, real, not real feel, real. And we were like, well, nobody's going to be here. And over a dozen people showed up.
Yeah.
So ever since then, we've just done it. And since the tornado has knocked the cinema out till later this spring, we still wanted to carry on the tradition.
It is important to differentiate between all of this. So you have the cafe next door.
The cafe super official, where they're doing this with serious people.
You have obviously the Rome Capitol Theater,
Where we are right now.
Okay, and that theater is open.
Yes, the theater is open.
But then you have
we had Jimmy Fallon.
But then you have the cinema, which is
right next door.
Yes, and it's a smaller venue.
It's a smaller venue playing mainly independent type films.
But that is closed until springtime.
Until spring, yes.
That's the Rome Capitol Arts Complex.
There you go.
right.
See, now
Finally figured it all out, Rick.
Yeah, that's why.
Just for the record,
complex.
I still haven't. So I always rely on Andrew to fix that for me.
I got your back.
Senator Griffo is with it. So that starts around 8 o'clock this morning?
Well, yeah. They actually super official opens at 7, so people will start moseying in the regulars.
Anytime after 7.
And they're serious. These are serious Oscar film people. They knew the films before the Golden Globes made these obscure films famous. They knew them already.
I'm rooting for Bob Dylan, the Bob Dylan movie.
Oh, you see, I have to tell you, Bill.
Did you not like it?
I don't like biopics in general.
Did you see this movie?
No, I won't.
Well, then you can't judge it.
Well, they say it's
not a biopic.
Andrew, shut his mic off.
I will
Rick,
watch.
the times they are changing.
Like
That's
I saw.
right. He's just blowing in the wind, let me tell you, over there.
When Oppenheimer came out, I watched the real documentary with a real guy telling the real story.
The one thing about Oppenheimer is they added a lot of, and was Oppenheimer a biopic? That was more of a
historical
movie.
They're all they changed these in different degrees.
They specifically said it's not in that sense. It's just one moment of Bob
It's a
Dylan's
moment
life.
in time, and Bob Dylan is all about it. He's actually good with this. Like the Elvis thing, the thing with Elvis and what's his name, Colonel.
Yeah.
I mean, that had a lot of things that were not true.
Right. Well,
isn't that what's that called? They take liberties. There's a
creative
term for that.
liberty.
Creative liberties or
historical fiction.
Yeah.
No, but
in other words, they make up
term.
crap. They make up crap. That's
Did
what
you see the one with the
they embellish. They embellish.
Writer's embellishment. Yeah.
Just like most politicians, Joe, they really take creative liberty. Not you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
The documentary they did with the Doors, they copied all the famous images that you've seen, the footage at the airport, this shot here, and I go, why don't you watch the real one? And you can see the real thing. So
you know
anyway.
what? You know which documentary they really got wrong was Woodstock. They portrayed that as some sort of a riot.
I agree with you.
Thank
they got
you,
it
Joe.
wrong. They got it wrong.
Joe, I found my footage.
They got it wrong.
Can I just tell you they were paying?
Let's do our own version of it.
I'm ready to do that.
All right.
I got a ton of footage. They were paying. They were paying $10,000. I could not find my footage. I found the footage as we were walking through the fires.
Rick, you got.
Well, you do the 100-year anniversary.
That's what I'll have.
Well,
to
you could do your own documentary. To Joe's point.
Well, I think Joe, we ought to do that. The real truth, and we'll show them how you really can break a bottle of champagne.
True.
Yeah.
Well, you could also do like all the moments that weren't fiery, and then you use about 1/10 of your footage.
Here's the funny thing: they got into things that, I mean, when you have. And Joe, I know you want to talk about this, but let me say it first, and then you can say it, because I'm not sure it's good for you to say this. I'm not sure it's good for me to say this. But when you have 500,000 people, and would you say? I mean, we have no idea, but I got to tell you, that's a pretty good estimate.
Yeah,
350 to 500,000 people.
That's a lot.
When you have that many people, this is what I say about the argument in New York City, where people are like, oh, it's worse, it's more dangerous there than ever. You're going to get crazy people. You have mental health issues. The mental health problem is bigger than anything else. You must have a mental health problem in New York City if you're willing to walk up to a stranger and just punch them in the face, or to walk up to a stranger and push them into the subway.
I know.
There's
Or light
gotta
them on
be
fire.
something wrong with your head. And that is a bigger problem in New York State. But what I'm saying here is 500,000 people, Joe, you're going to get some bad actors, and there's going to be some bad stuff, and they're all doing drugs and drinking, and there's going to be some things that happen that are very bad.
Yeah, we acknowledge that.
It's going to happen.
When you talk about it, it's one thing I do agree with the governor that she's proposing this involuntary commitment right now for people that are experiencing mental health issues but unwilling to address them. And there are ways that we can do this in a humanitarian way, but to get them the right counseling and support that they need. But in this particular instance, the only thing I would say about that, Bill, is what we have a propensity to do in this nation right now. We're doing it with historic figures, and we do it with creative liberty, as well as looking at things with the contemporary lens for something that took place, say, 30 years ago, or with historic figures hundreds of years ago, and we're looking and judging them with today's mindset and today's lens. And I think that's unfair, and I think so. I don't know how you do that. Maybe that's where you come in.
I don't know.
That's where you come in with your documentary now.
You're not gonna, I mean, I think that today's lens and the lens back then is not that. It's not that different. I mean,
no violence is acceptable, right? But on the other hand, it's how you're looking at it. I think these productions that were undertaken, and I knew this when I participated, and I did it without any compensation of any type, giving them information as well as photos and things of that nature. But they had a particular perspective, a point of view that they wanted to express.
MTV hated this event
Correct.
Because they were hated.
Yeah, you
this
remember
was the beginning of the end for MTV.
You remember how Kennedy and I had a little conversation at one of your events.
You guys went at it. Anyway,
the interesting thing, the biggest change in perspective would be, honestly, that those bottled water prices would actually be cheap for today's day.
Well, think about going to a game now.
We
talked about it. Like, how do you
unless
go,
you're the Mercedes-Benz Arena.
I thought that was the dumbest argument. That the kids acted out because the water was too expensive and the food was too expensive. Bull crap. They acted out because they just were. They did what stupid kids do.
They were messed up.
They were messed up,
the essence,
and then when it starts to pile on, it's like people use that as a defense to January 6th.
Right.
Once somebody breaks the window and they're all going in the Capitol, a bunch of people follow along.
Well, that's you get into sociology and psychology, right? But the essence,
I'm an expert.
The essence
stuff.
of this,
Thank you.
The essence of this, in contrast, though, which you have to understand, because a lot of people have criticized promoters and things of that nature, but their job is to make a profit. That's what they were doing. The difference was in '69, according to history, this was a movement and a cause that really motivated what took place, even though there was a lot of bad things that happened in '69. However,
there were people who died there too.
However, this basically was spring break on steroids, and that was it. I mean, and people were there.
That is a great way to describe it, because I had when I was much younger, I went quite a few. I was not even in college, and I was going to spring break, and we were having a blast. And let me tell you, that's what you get all these kids together, and it's
bedlam.
Girls in bathing suits, and in this case, girls that aren't wearing any tops. You're all of a sudden. Crazy stuff comes out of the minds of these kids.
What motivates crowds and communities when you're celebrating a national championship to go and burn cars and loot buildings?
With that said,
what's you and I in Buffalo?
You and I listen. We'll be peaceful in Buffalo. you and I disagree.
Is that because you may not make it all the way?
We're going all the way. You and I disagree on the fact that I felt that it was really bad on Sunday night. And I did use the R word, and you don't like that word at all.
No, I mean, if you use the riot word,
how about riotous? It was riotous.
There you go.
It was righteous.
But the point is, when you look at classification, because the then superintendent of state police used it based on the terminology. But the one thing that you have to remember is there were no arrests made that evening, and when law enforcement arrived on the scene to preserve order and maintain order, there was no resistance really. The people obeyed their commands. A riot would be when they, come after the police and engage the police and things of that nature. That didn't happen that night.
You and I will disagree on this always.
But that's a fact.
It is. And then we'll go out and we'll have a couple of drinks, and now we're arguing and fighting over it. Now we're doing it first thing in the morning.
They had the shields.
Let me ask you this, Rick Lewis. Did you get any footage of the guys that were climbing the speaker tower?
No.
And they were surfing? I have that footage.
It sounds.
Did you get the footage?
Sounds like Marshall Street when Syracuse made the national championship. Remember that?
Did you get the footage of the kids climbing on top of that long tent that had the vinyl top, and they were treating it as a trampoline? They were jumping. I thought that tent was going down.
Wow.
I mean, those are obvious things that happen, and they're unacceptable. But
if
they're
I
motivated
own that,
by what
if
you said.
I own that tent, they need to buy. If they need to call me, and I will sell them that footage, and they can use it to say we have the strongest tents in the world. Look at this. There are 300 kids on top of this thing jumping like a trampoline, and that tent didn't go down.
So who's going to win the Oscars this year?
I don't
You
even
are
know
changing the
movie.
subject.
Subject change.
That was quick.
Oscars.
Davey, you probably want me to take a break.
What
don't
are the
you?
big movies this year? I'm serious.
We'll get into that in a second because I am going to break.
You got the guy calling in?
over here. I'm
expert.
We have news coming up top of the hour. We're live at the Rome Capitol Theater in Rome on WIBX.
Yeah, I'll bring
Hi,
John.
I'm New York State Health Commissioner Dr. Jim McDonald. I'm here to respond to lies being spread about the future of home health care in New York. There are businesses pushing a misinformation campaign to protect their own profits. It's meant to scare you into thinking that New Yorkers will lose access to home care. That's false. Your governor and I would never let that happen. So here's what you need to know. New York State has a new plan for a vital program known as CDPAP. Our plan will protect New Yorkers who rely on home care. It will protect vulnerable people from businesses that haven't played by the rules, and it will protect taxpayers from middlemen that have abused Medicaid funding. Our plan will deliver better home care service. If you're a CDPAP home care user, you can keep your trusted caregiver. If you're a caregiver, it'll be easier for you to get paid. New Yorkers will get better care and better service at a better price. That's the truth.
A message from the New York State Health Department.
The new year means new health goals, not just for your body, but your finances too. Your personal info is in so many places that are outside of your control. It only takes one mistake, and not even your mistake, to expose you to identity theft and lost funds. If your identity's stolen, LifeLock's restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your subscription money back, and resolve to make identity, health, and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Visit LifeLock.com and save up to 40% off your first year with promo code CLAY. Terms apply.
Hey, listen, I want to tell you the official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program is Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Chuck Sedella and everybody over there, they have you covered and ready to go. The drive-thru is lightning fast. If you go there this morning, the donuts were made fresh this morning. Try their avocado toast on Heidelberg French peasant bread or that amazing coffee. Bring a box to work. The drive-thru is fast. Daylight Donuts in the village of New Hartford.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome. W295EI. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. A Town Square media station.
1,500 more U.S. troops will be sent to the southern border. I'm Dave Anthony. Fox News. As President Trump makes border security a priority, planning mass deportations of illegal immigrants, and he's ready to battle Democrats planning to resist in sanctuary cities, telling Fox's Hannity.
We're trying to get rid of them. We're trying to end them, and a lot of the people in those communities don't want them. You know, California is a big example. Would you cut off their money? I might have to do that.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson reports.
As promised, Trump has ordered immigration and customs enforcement officers to carry out a series of raids in sanctuary cities. In the first 33 hours of President Trump returning to office, ICE has made nearly 460 arrests of illegal immigrants, including many with criminal records.
Now, one of the many new Trump executive orders and actions facing a legal challenge in court today, a lawsuit attempting to block the president's plan to end birthright citizenship, allowing anyone born in the U.S. to automatically be American. The president also reacted on Fox to President Biden pardoning family members before leaving office.
He didn't give himself a pardon. And if you look at it, it all had to do with him.
Now, Congress had investigated Biden family business dealings overseas in an impeachment inquiry, but Democrats insist there's no evidence of wrongdoing. President Trump also told Fox he wants to reform FEMA and disaster response.
I'd rather see the states take care of their own problems.
And tomorrow he'll visit areas of North Carolina ravaged by hurricane flooding last year, and the Los Angeles area scorched by wildfires as 2 new ones burn, leading to thousands of evacuations. 7 police officers recovering in San Antonio, Texas, after being targeted by a suicidal man they responded to.
The first officer arrived, was shot, and 6 others
subsequent to that were shot as well.
San Antonio Police Chief William McManus says the gunman was later found dead. There's no school today or tomorrow at Antioch High in Nashville, Tennessee, where they're still trying to figure out why a 17-year-old student shot and killed a 16-year-old girl in the cafeteria, then killed himself. 2 other students were injured. America's listening to Fox News.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Terry's Tiny Homes, Terry! Sure, as the only employee of her company, Terry was probably the front runner, but saving money getting personalized discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive, well, that gave Terry the edge. Over Terry.
Terry, Terry.
Keep awkwardly
Terry,
chanting your own name, Terry. You
Terry.
deserve it.
Woo!
Be your own Terry. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
You said bye-bye to big government. Now it's time to trim the fat from Big Wireless. Pure Talk gives you the exact same service. They use the same cell towers, the same 5G network. You get better customer service, and you pay half the price for the exact same thing. Get unlimited talk, text, 15 gigs of data with mobile hotspot for just $35 a month. Make the switch. You simply dial pound 250, say the keyword save now, save an additional 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
Well, President Trump puts a lot of focus on border security and mass deportations of illegal immigrants. He can soon sign into law a new crackdown.
The House and Senate have passed the bill named after the nursing student killed in Georgia, whose accused killer was in the country illegally. The Lake and Riley Act would require ICE to detain illegal immigrants arrested for theft, burglary, and a number of other offenses. Congressman Mike Collins of Georgia says the bill is necessary to stop dangerous criminals.
They just get more and more emboldened, and they create larger and more heinous crimes. And that's exactly what happened here in the Lake and Riley murder.
Dozens of House and Senate Democrats join Republicans in support, but those opposed argue it could lead to serious violations of due process. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
There are reports of another potential Trump executive order that would prevent any American funding being used for so-called gain-of-function research in viruses, like has been alleged at the Chinese laboratory at the heart of the COVID outbreak. Now a COVID fraud update.
An indictment against 7 people charging they filed more than 8,000 false tax returns, claiming COVID-related employment tax credits. The DOJ says the 7, all New York residents, took advantage of the employee retention credit approved by Congress that incentivized businesses to keep employees on their payroll. They used another credit that reimbursed companies for wages paid to workers who were on COVID-related sick leave. The defendants allegedly filed the returns with the IRS when some discrepancies were found. They were charged with 45 counts, including conspiracy to defraud the U.S. and wire fraud. Jill Nato, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are mixed, up for the Dow, down for the NASDAQ, the morning after big gains for both. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time 7.
Start over. That's what I would do.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time 7:05. I'm Andrew Derminio. Despite what Senator Griffo's phone says, mine says 8 under cloudy skies here in Rome. You're full.
What does mine say, Andrew?
It says 8.
What does Senator Griffo say?
His
right
says,
up on that microphone.
His says 12 and poor air quality is what his says.
No, it does not. It says 12 degrees, real feel 8 degrees. So that means it's going up.
Can I just look at that right now?
Yeah.
You're still on D.C.
No, it says Rome, New York up there.
All right, Andrew, the news.
Here is the news. The New York State Nurses Association is calling for members at Oneida Hospital to receive a fair contract. The association says before the last contract expired on December 31st, hospital management threatened to stop bargaining altogether. Nurses say they want clear and enforceable staffing standards and also improved wages and benefits. A spokesperson for Oneida Health says the hospital values all of its nurses and is looking forward to working our deal. The Syracuse Common Council is giving residents a bit more time before they're fined for improperly leaving out their garbage and recycling. A 3-month moratorium on any penalties went into effect when the new recycling carts were distributed in October. After serving customers for a decade, the Margaritaville restaurant at Destiny, USA is closing its doors. The chain was founded in 1985 by the late singer Jimmy Buffett and has 23 locations across the U.S. and Canada. The final day for Margaritaville hasn't been announced yet, but mall officials say its shutdown is one of multiple leases that'll be expiring earlier this year. There are also plans in the works to upgrade Regal Cinemas and install pickleball courts at the shopping center. A wanted fugitive from Virginia has been taken into custody after being captured in the village of Whitesboro. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office says 41-year-old Hasimba Brown from Richmond, Virginia, was apprehended on January 21st. In mid-January, members of the United States, New York, New Jersey Marshals Service Regional Task Force worked to locate and arrest Brown. Brown, who is currently on parole in Virginia for a manslaughter conviction in New York, was wanted by the Chesterfield County, Virginia Sheriff's Office on several charges. A 41-year-old Utica resident who has a lengthy rap sheet has been arrested again. The New Hartford Police Department reported Joe Lopez has an extensive criminal record with 13 active warrants issued by the department. New Hartford police say Lopez was involved in a theft investigation at Home Depot on Tuesday. Lopez and his alleged co-conspirator, 53-year-old Aaron Holden of Utica, allegedly stole over $500 worth of merchandise from the store. Lopez's warrants arise from multiple incidents of merchandise theft from retailers such as Kohl's, TJ Maxx, Dick's Sporting Goods, and Home Depot. And Topps has a highly sought-after one-of-one baseball rookie card has been found. The trading card company announced an 11-year-old collector from Los Angeles pulled the autographed debut patch card of Pittsburgh Pirates pitcher Paul Skeens. In November, the team said it would offer whoever found the card 2 season tickets behind home plate for 30 years, along with several other exclusive experiences in exchange for it. Skeens won the National League Rookie of the Year award last season. No word yet if the 11-year-old plans to accept the Pirates trade offer. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time 7:09. Here's your forecast.
Well, the cold retreating with a blanket of clouds over us this morning. Temperatures are up, and we'll move today a little bit. Mid-20s. Still may feel below zero, especially this morning. Now, we'll get some snow showers tonight and tomorrow. Not look like big accumulations here, but up in the North Country, especially into Oswego County, there could be multiple inches. I'm meteorologist Ray Stejik at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
8 degrees in Rome, outside the Capitol Theater. About 79 here in the lobby, going on 80. It is 7:09. Sports brought to you by IBEW NECA 43, local contractors. Well, the Jets have settled on their next head coach. According to ESPN, Detroit Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn is returning to the team that selected him in the first round of the '94 draft after being hired as the Jets head coach. The deal is a 5-year contract. The 52-year-old joins Walt Michaels as the only 2 players in Jets history to coach the team. The green and white are still searching for a new general manager. Former Lions executive Lance Newmark, Bengals senior personnel executive Trey Brown, and Broncos assistant GM Darren Mogi are among the candidates. The NBA has acknowledged a pair of missed calls from the Knicks' recent battle against the Nets. In the final 69 seconds of the game, Mikal Bridges should have been called with a shooting foul against D'Angelo Russell that would have resulted in 3 free throw shot attempts. And Keon Johnson should have been called for a shooting foul against Jalen Brunson. The Knicks held on for a 4-point win and are second in the Atlantic Division at 29-16. New York hosts the Sacramento Kings Saturday night at Madison Square Garden. And Trent Balk is no longer the Jacksonville Jaguars general manager. The team and Balk parted ways after one of their head coaching candidates, Liam Cohen, decided to remain offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He had been the Jags GM since November of 2020. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 7:11.
We're your complete appliance center, and we service what we sell. Dave Hayes.
Pack a more powerful clean with a Maytag dishwasher. Get serious cleaning strength with enhanced wash for more water and heat. Plus, Sandy Rinse to deliver a confident clean and heated dry with fan to dry dishes completely. Even fit bulky dishes with an adjustable upper rack. Shop Dave Hayes Appliance Center, 5168 Commercial Drive, Yorkville, or online at davehayesappliance.com.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
When disaster strikes, the food supply is the first domino to fall. It can start quietly, an emergency alert, a breaking news headline. But within hours, reality sets in. People rush to grocery stores, emptying shelves of everything from bread to canned goods. Lines stretch out the door, tempers flare, and desperation takes hold. And no matter who's in charge these days, you simply can't rely on the government to bail you out. That's why having an emergency food supply on hand is the right move for you and your family. Right now, you can get $50 off a 4-week emergency food kit at mypatriotsupply.com. They're an American company trusted by millions, offering 2,000 calories per day with essential vitamins and minerals to keep you strong during a crisis. This food will be there for you when you need it, since it lasts up to 25 years and can ship out to you next day. Go to mypatriotsupply.com now to get $50 off your 4-week emergency food kit. That's mypatriotsupply.com.
Hey, Central New York, this is Will Kane of The Will Kane Show, and you can now hear my show every weekday at WIBX. I do things a little differently when I'm behind the microphone because I turn it over to the listeners to learn and really dig into the issues that impact everyday Americans. The Will Kane Show lets you keep ahead of the headlines and understand what's really going on in the world with in-depth discussions from leading experts and the brightest minds. From politics to sports, nothing is off topic. Listen to The Will Kane Show weekdays at 6, only on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, I'm glad it didn't get World
Okay, Davey, thank you, man. Davey is back in the studio. Davey, talk to us if you could for a second. Are you right there?
Are you right there, Davey?
Good morning, Davey. How are the phone lines? How's that going?
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
Good morning, Davey. How are the phone lines?
Still don't have them.
So what is the actual issue? Like, you can't dial out? You can't get a dial tone at all? What is it?
I have phones in my room, but it's not connected in the studio.
Okay, so we have you there. You might be able to unplug that in the back and then plug it back in. Sometimes that resets it.
Yeah, I did that, and
nothing.
it worked, and then I lost them again.
Unbelievable. Okay, well, we're going to do what we can do. We'll work it out.
New
we will find a way. We are live at the with Joe Time, live at the Rome Capitol Theater. Here's Senator Joe Griffo.
Good morning. What's the weather? Maybe it's the weather. What's the
Maybe
temperature?
it is.
What's the temperature?
Yeah. Temperature is now down to 6.
The phones don't work when it's single digits.
You know what? Fake weather. It's not
fake
right.
News, fake weather.
There it goes again.
Your mic stand's going down. All right, sir, could you just... I'm sorry, I didn't write your name down because I got caught up in the middle of some other stuff.
That's okay.
Nice and tight on that. Tell us who you are.
Yeah, so my name is AJ. I work here at the Capitol Theater.
Okay.
Yep, at the Rome Capitol Theater. And today's a not many people may know this, but today's a very fun day for us movie lovers. It's the day the Oscar nominations get announced.
You must have been really messed up with this whole thing because they kept delaying it.
I know. So we're trying. We have an event going on.
Oh, you're trying to plan something,
Yep.
and they're like, "Okay, we've decided we're going to do it Sunday," and you're like, "Sunday," which screwed with us because we're not on the air Sunday. I mean, the station is.
Mhm.
And then they moved it again, and now here we are on Thursday.
But hey,
then there's a big fire last night.
It is.
And it's continuing as we go through the
I know.
overnight hours.
I'm hopefully
It's terrible.
that it's nowhere near like where they're announcing the awards, because I was
know.
like, oh my god, I was fretting this morning. Are they going to move it again?
I think they're kind of committed now, right?
You got to do
think.
it.
Okay, so tell us who is you're an expert when it comes to these movies.
Oh, sure, self-appointed.
Okay, but you're familiar. Have you seen all of them?
So unfortunately, no. Usually,
some don't make it here.
Yeah, I know it's very tricky, especially because of the Cinema Capital's closure. Usually, not permanent closure.
Right,
since the tornado, we've been
Till the
unable to
springtime.
operate.
Yeah.
But usually we'd be going right into Oscar season. We'd be getting as many of these titles as we can. And now, speaking for myself, I got to seek out, because
Right.
I know what I think might get nominated usually, and I'm always looking to see what showtimes are playing.
You may have to go to certain internet websites to try to get some of these movies.
Right, we have a bootleg service. I can get you anything you want.
Remember bootlegs? New York City used to be like you would see the camera. Somebody was sitting in the theater with a camera, and you'd see people walk by.
Oh, someone would get up because they were taping it in the theater. My connection has a connection. Who's your connection, Joe?
Well, I think right now what Andrew's talking about are some of those movies that are made on 8th Avenue back in the day. You know what I mean? So it's
what was happening is they would go in with a video camera and watch the movie.
Very large camera.
And they would tape the movie, and you literally, while you're watching at home on your DVD, you would see someone stand up. You'd see the back of their head.
You'd hear the popcorn and candy rattling.
But then the other one that I'm sure you see, what you want to do is become a member of the Academy and become a critic.
Oh, I know.
Because then you'll get all the advanced copies.
Yeah, well, my mom once worked with somebody who was a member of the Screen Actors Guild, SAG, and that year, they slid some screeners our way. So we were able to get some of those exclusive.
If you're a voter, if you vote, you get the advanced copies. And we have Willie Waffle, who is our movie reviewer
Correct.
every week. He gets everything in advance, but he also likes to go into the theater and watch it.
It's a totally different experience.
It is a different experience. Okay, who do you think is going to get nominated?
Well, that's a tricky question.
What do you think? Which movies? Sorry.
If I'm running down Best Picture, some movies have become pretty obvious that they're going to get in.
The Dylan movie is probably going to be nominated.
Oh yeah, it's gotten in. When you're looking at these awards, sometimes what you're looking at is where did it get nominated before? The Bob Dylan movie has gotten nominated basically everywhere that it could have for Best Picture and for a lot of different awards.
I also didn't realize that movie has been delayed for 5 years. The making of that movie was delayed. It was delayed for some reason, and then COVID got in the way, and finally they were able to get the movie completed. And I saw an interview with Chalamet, and he said that it was actually a good thing because it allowed him during that 5-year extension to continue because he had never played guitar before. To continue,
so he learned,
to play and work to sound like Dylan. He really sounded pretty good.
He followed Dylan around for a full year. Everywhere he went, he was there.
Right. Unfortunately, he never was able to understand a single word he said. So that movie's probably going to do well, and Chalamet will most likely be nominated for.
He's definitely in the top contention for Best Actor, I would say.
Yeah.
Another movie that's been doing real well is a movie called Conclave about the secret process where a new pope is chosen.
I've not seen that yet. It is on maybe this weekend I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I have seen it. It is quite good. It's like it's kind of a thrill. It's kind of a thriller, a mystery, kind of a drama, and it features a lot of really good performances, including by his name is Ralph Fiennes. He's probably going to get nominated for an Oscar today as well.
Senator Griffo was actually at the Vatican.
Indeed, and actually got to meet the Holy Father.
And actually, when the Holy Father was selected, Joe actually brought the kindling in to start the fire for the white smoke.
Wow.
Remember that, Joe?
Sure, I took a page out of Woodstock.
That was big.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
so-
Well, maybe that movie will look a little familiar to you.
It might. There was another one out about the Vatican with two popes. Was it?
Yeah, that was a few
That was
years
really
ago.
good. I like that.
Yeah, it was really interesting to look at.
All right, so Conclave, you feel is probably a favorite.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what's interesting, and I didn't really realize this was this type of movie. I haven't seen it yet, but that movie, The Substance, with Demi Moore.
Yeah, isn't that
it's like a horror film,
Yeah.
but she got a Best Actress
Listen,
award for
I
that, so-
I had someone, I'm not going to say who, but they messaged me when we were talking about this, said that have you seen that movie?
Oh, yes, I have.
What
yeah.
did you think? Because I had someone from here in Rome say, I'll tell you who after, said, do not waste your time.
Oh dear.
It is the worst movie I've ever seen.
Well, I could totally see that. There are some audiences that it's going to be a no-go for because
Yeah.
it goes to some real weird and really gory places toward the end. And that's why I'm so surprised that it's been doing so well awards-wise. That's the type of movie that was
You never saw it as an Oscar nominee.
Yeah, some people might say that was a really good movie, but in a million years it would never get nominated for an Oscar.
I was also
it
shocked.
looks like it's gonna.
Also shocked to find out that she had, until she won the Golden Globe, she had never won a single award.
Well, the way she put it in her speech is like, they always considered me like a box office draw. They never considered me as like a serious actress.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's the type of thing in the industry when you get a role like that and you can prove yourself, that sets you up for success awards wise.
All right, what else do you think?
Let's see. There's
While you're thinking, I will tell you also, it's also very interesting to see the movies that are straight to Netflix or straight to.
Yeah.
The streaming world has just exploded. There's so much good stuff out there.
And to that point, another movie that's expected to play really big into the awards race is a movie called Amelia Perez, which is on Netflix right now.
Yeah.
And it's this really strange. The writer and director is French.
She's the opera. She's the opera singer. Yeah,
well,
we watched that.
That should tell you a lot that the writer director is French. It's about these people in Mexico and a cartel leader who is transgender.
Oh no, this is not the movie that I'm talking about.
Sorry, that's
I'm talking about the opera movie that is also what was that?
Yeah, that's a different. I can't think of the name of that one right now.
Yeah,
but,
and
but
some believe that may very well be nominated as well.
Oh
the
yeah,
Perez,
yeah. Maria. You're talking about Maria. I remember.
And who played in that? Who played that part?
Angelina Jolie.
Angelina Jolie learned how to sing opera and blows it out of the water in that movie. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
It's a kind of, she was an odd woman.
Yeah.
And it's
just
interesting.
different. It's the director of that movie had made two previous movies about American women called not American women called Jackie and Spencer, which both got their lead actresses Oscar nominated. So Angelina Jolie could stand a chance to get nominated.
Perez, you think, is one, and then anything else that is on your
Wicked.
mind?
What about Wicked?
Wicked. Oh, yeah, of course.
Good job. Yeah,
of course, Joe.
Good job.
One of
He's got
Joe's
one.
favorite
Can't
movies.
forget.
Joe's favorite movies this year: Wicked, Barbie, and Gladiator.
Gladiator 2.
Gladiator 2. Sorry.
Yeah,
So,
please,
yeah.
let's be clear on that.
Actually, Barbie was actually a pretty good movie. I hate to say
and that was last year, a big Oscar contender last year.
Scored that. That's the first time Netflix has had like a from the theater to the streaming service movie.
And you look at this Best Actor nominees. Adrian Brody is back. And
Adrian Brody
but he
from
also has
Sylvan
a
Beach.
local connection.
Yeah. Listen, last night tell Marianne I'm going to get right to her. The Curious Case of Natalia Grace. I don't know if you saw that streaming
No,
thing.
I have not.
Anyway, it's about a short person. What do they call them, Joe? They don't say midgets.
Keeler.
Thank you. I set you right up for that. That was like a slow pitch.
Softball, yeah.
And it's a terrible story, but there were 3 seasons now. And it was so big that the production company decided we're going to do the Curious Case of ...
Mm-hmm.
And they picked different unsolved cases, different things, but it's totally clear. It seems to me it's totally like thrown together. It's poorly edited. sometimes you're struggling to follow it.
Mhm.
Anyway, we're watching episode 2 last night just to give it a shot.
Yep.
And out of nowhere last night, the woman is talking about some murder. Her sister had been murdered, and she said, "We grew up in Little Falls, New York." And the whole story was based around Little Falls.
Wow.
All these people from Little Falls. I never knew that was even a thing, but that will not be an Oscar nominee. I can promise you it was horrible.
What about best score, best song? That always becomes a big thing. With some of them,
Yeah,
become hits that people
so
like the
sometimes
Barbie movie.
When you're filling out your ballot, if you got stuff that you think is like heavy contenders for Best Picture, you kind of like fill it in other categories. So like Conclave and Amelia Perez are 2 movies with really good scores. Well, Amelia Perez is a musical as well, that you can fill into those categories. You look into other categories, and sometimes it's good to check something off that you think is going to be pretty big.
Yeah.
That's a hack for your Oscar ballots and stuff. One other movie I'd like to shout out from the conversation. There's this movie called Sing Sing, which is about real life prisoners who there's a program in the prisons in Sing Sing prison where they do theater and they do art, and it helps them to rehabilitate. It's really interesting. It's been a really interesting movie to follow because it was considered for a while to be a really strong contender. Hasn't gotten in ever.
Is it a documentary or?
No, it's a feature, but it's based on real people.
All right, cool.
And one of the inmates actually plays himself in the movie. It's really interesting, and it could get a couple high-profile nominations, but it's on the cusp. I just wanted to shout that one out.
Well, there are already people beginning to show up next door at the cafe as it's now open, and we appreciate it. We'll see how good you end up being when it's all done.
Thank you so much.
All right, we appreciate it. Thank you, man.
The inmate playing himself sounds like an assemblyman who came up to Marcy just recently. Formerly incarcerated and now an assembly member.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? We're with Senator Joe Griffo. Davey, I'm told the phones are working. And do you think that Marianne will be available at 40? Okay, because let me go right now with Sergeant Scott Hogue with the Rome PD. I know he's been waiting also, along with Marianne. Marianne, we're going to get to you, I promise. Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers each week does a wanted person of the week. And you go to our website at WIBX950.com, and it's all up there. Let me go now to Sergeant Scott Hogue with the Rome PD. Sergeant, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Who is this week's wanted person of the week?
Christopher M. Stocklosa. He was born August 6, 1983. He's a 41-year-old white male, approximately 5'10", 165 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. Last known address was the city of Rome. He's charges of 1-count criminal contempt in the first degree. That's an E felony. Christopher Stocklosa is wanted on one charge of criminal contempt in the first degree issued out of the city of Rome court. There is an arrest warrant issued for Stocklosa, and all the charges stem from a domestic incident that occurred in the month of December of 2024. Stocklosa has no known address, but is believed to be either in the Rome or Utica area.
All right. There's a full story about him and the charges and the warrant, along with a photo from Rome PD, which is up on our website at WIBX950.com. You can check it out. Crime Stoppers, Sergeant, a great organization, which I'm a part of, and it is incredible because people can make send in a tip. They can call in a tip, use the app, use the phone. But, Sergeant, it is all anonymous.
That's correct, and we appreciate the help from Crime Stoppers and also the community members that we reside with.
All right. Sergeant Scott Hogue, we appreciate what you do. Thank you for your service to the community, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you.
All right. Sergeant Scott Hogue with the Rome PD. Senator.
Great force. Proud of them as a former mayor, and I know you got a break, but we had you got Marianne and Brian Miller both on their way to Albany. Just want to let you know we caught you all the way to exit 23 yesterday, so your signal was pretty strong yesterday.
I don't know what does that. Sometimes we're done, and by the time you get to Schenectady, other times you can go all the way out.
Right, yeah,
you go further east than west.
Yeah.
No, you were. It's impressive. You can get you pretty much most of the way, but yesterday you got you almost right to the exit.
A lot of people don't realize this, but the transmitter is actually driven by new technology. It's a stationary bike in the studio that Davey gets on, and
he's looking quite svelte.
When he gets pedaling, Joe, I'm telling you, you may pick us up in Vermont. It's possible. We'll do a quick break. Coming up, Marianne Buttonshaw and Assemblyman Brian Miller. Here as we come from Joe time on a very cold, very, very cold Thursday morning here at the Rome Capitol with WIBX.
It's 2025. Stop putting off that decision to buy a new mattress at Mattress Express. Take up to 5 years to pay for anything in the store with no money down for qualified buyers on qualified purchases. We have no credit check payment plans as well. No one else in New York State has all the brands under one roof that we have. Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, Purple, Puffy, the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh and Lavish, Therapeutic, and more. If you consider getting a bed you can make soft or firm on each side, before you buy, shop the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort at Mattress Express. 45 individual settings on each side, from super soft to super firm. The flex head option in king or queen. 5 years, no interest, no money down for qualified buyers. Compare price, compare warranty, and compare features. Go to mattressexpressny.com for locations or call 1-800-NEW-BED.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time. 7:32. I'm Andrew Dominio. It's cold, 8 degrees. Your full weather forecast is coming up. A 41-year-old Utica resident with a lengthy rap sheet has been arrested again. The New Hartford Police Department reported Joe Lopez has an extensive criminal record with 13 active warrants issued by the department. New Hartford police say Lopez was involved in a theft investigation at Home Depot on Tuesday. Lopez and his alleged co-conspirator, 53-year-old Aaron Holden of Utica, allegedly stole over $500 worth of merchandise from the Home Depot store. Lopez's warrants arise from multiple incidents of merchandise theft from retailers such as Kohl's, TJ Maxx, Dick's Sporting Goods, and Home Depot. Lopez faces 14 counts of petty larceny and grand larceny. The New York State Nurses Association is calling for members at Oneida Hospital to receive a fair contract. The association says before the last contract expired on December 31st, hospital management threatened to stop bargaining. Nurses say they want clear and enforceable staffing standards and also improved wages and benefits. A spokesperson for Oneida Health says the hospital values all of its nurses and is looking forward to working out a deal. 7 people have been taken to the hospital due to a fire in Syracuse. Crews were called to battle the blaze at a residence on Grant Boulevard last night and arrived to find smoke and flames pouring from the building. There was a total of 11 people inside at the time, and 7 of them needed to be treated for smoke inhalation. The fire is believed to have been caused by an electrical malfunction. And the Syracuse men's basketball team came up short of a second straight win following a double-digit loss on the road. J.J. Starling led the Orange with 25 points, but his squad still fell to the Clemson Tigers by a final score of 86-72 last night from Little John Coliseum in South Carolina. Eddie Lampkin added 14 points for SU, whose record is now 9 wins and 10 losses. Up next for Cuse is another ACC contest at home against the Pittsburgh Panthers on Saturday. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time, 7:35. Here's your forecast.
Well, the cold retreating with a blanket of clouds over us this morning. Temperatures are up, and we'll move today a little bit. Mid-20s. Still may feel below zero, especially this morning. Now, we'll get some snow showers tonight, tomorrow. That'll look like big accumulations here, but up in the North Country, especially into Oswego County, there could be multiple inches. I'm meteorologist Ray Stidgick at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
8 degrees under cloudy skies. It is 7:36.
Hold on. Senator Griffo wants to challenge you on your temperature.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
It's fake weather, that's all.
Okay, Andrew, it's fake weather. All right, stand by. We're going to talk to Assemblywoman Marianne Buttonshaw, Assemblyman Brian Miller, and also, Joe, I'm going to hit you with something that I'm going to catch you off guard, and I'll tell everybody else, so don't
Ambush!
listen. We're going to ambush him with, I want to know, are you going to be able to save Marcy Correctional? Don't say anything yet.
Not that, but I just want to thank Councilman Joe Mastrangelo was here. He stopped by today.
I did see him, yes.
Town of Lee, and thank him for coming by.
We'll do a quick break and come back. We're at the Rome Capitol on WIBX.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Hey, it's Polly from Big Frog 104 with the perfect solution for your manufactured or mobile home problems. John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories in Oriskany Falls. If you've had issues with your furnace, now is the time to think about replacing it. Don't wait until next winter. Your skirting around the home could have taken a little beating. John has skirting too. With energy costs continuing to rise and no relief in sight, you need to make sure your mobile or manufactured home is energy efficient. John has new doors and windows in stock as well. Find it all at John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories.com.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? It seems impossible to find them. Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
We're your complete appliance center, and we service what we sell. Dave Hayes.
Visit Dave Hayes Appliance Center to see the Whirlpool washer with 2 ways to wash thanks to the 2-in-1 removable agitator. With a flexible capacity, you can take the agitator out for bulky loads or keep it in for items like jeans. Shop now at Dave Hayes Appliance Center and get twice the washer you have at home. Dave Hayes Appliance Center, 5168 Commercial Drive, Yorkville, or online at davehayesappliance.com.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
And we're back on the Phil Stern Show. Back here at the Rome Capitol Theater with Senator Joe Griffo. Joe Time. Explain what Joe Time is.
Yeah, it's us coming into the community at places where there's a lot of people present, normally coffee shops in the morning. Today, special venues like we've done a Tucalana Club here in Rome during the World Series, and now the Capitol during Oscars. So come on by if you want. We're on West Dominic Street, and this gives you a chance to interact with us, ask questions, offer opinions.
Warm up
whatever.
from the cold.
And I'm going to get to you on this Marcy Correctional Facility thing. Coming up. Let me go first to Assemblyman Brian Miller. Assemblyman, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How's everything going out there at the theater?
Well, I will tell you, outside it's cold. Inside we're at about 78 degrees. It's nice. Nice and toasty.
I heard that. I'm on the thruway to Albany for a Joint Energy and Transportation Committee hearing on EV infrastructure.
Yeah, it is. It's just, listen, we deal with the cold. I know that if you're watching TV or in some cases listening to the radio, the announcers may not be used to this weather, and they kind of overblow this whole thing. But the reality is 5, 6, 7 below zero is kind of crappy.
Bill, the birds are freezing in midair.
I think we'll be okay, though. Brian, I'll ask you something I'm going to talk to Senator Griffo with. There's a lot of talk about closing the Marcy Correctional Facility because what went down there, obviously what happened there was horrific, and we need to make sure that does not happen again. However, when something goes wrong, is that a reason to close up the place?
Well, no, I don't. It was a terrible happening that happened out there, but no, that's not a reason to close a facility. We have we got a problem with the COs, how things were handled, what happened. It's not the walls, and it's not the facility
right.
that the physical wall, the physical walls and ceilings and everything. They didn't do that. It was the people inside the inside the prison.
Your thoughts on this budget proposal by the governor?
Well, since I've been in Albany, the budget the budget's gone up $104 billion. The spending's not sustainable. I don't know how this huge increase is there. There's no affordability. We just can't move along. I'm glad the governor has finally recognized public safety affordability here in New York State. She probably took a good look at her poll numbers and found out that we really got to do something with this.
She's kind of going down that road where she thinks if I give everybody a check for $300, they're gonna be okay with everything. I'm not sure $300 is enough, to be honest.
Well, it's like you guys said earlier. I think it's going to be a couple tanks of gas, and that's going to be it. If there's a sales tax surplus here, we should take a real good look at how we can make this permanent with energy and some other products here. And she's talking about a middle class tax cut, but if you look at the categories, she's talking about a $5,000 per household tax cut, but you got to fit every one of those categories to even come close to that. So I don't know, where she's going with this, but I do know this is going to be a very interesting budget time for the next couple of months, and the hearings are starting, and let's see where it takes us.
Okay, Assemblyman, we'll get you in studio when you're available, and stay safe there and stay warm.
Stay warm, guys. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And Davey, do we have anything else you want me to go to, or do I keep going here? I'm relying on you with this one.
Go to Marianne.
Okay, Marianne, Assemblywoman Marianne Buttonshaw is on the line right now. Marianne, good morning. Thanks so much for, I believe you're driving as well on the way to Albany.
This morning it is our small business as well as government operations hearings that we have. I have Mary Shepard from BGM coming to testify as a women-owned small business in Utica. So
I know Mary. She's the best.
Yeah. Yes, she is.
Well, I got to tell you, Marianne, if Andrew knows her, then we know that she's getting some of Andrew's postcards in the mail
regularly
on a regular basis, I believe. So you can confirm that
I
afterwards.
do. Yeah. So Mary confirmed that for you.
All right, well, there we go. Marianne, one of the issues is all of this talk about the Marcy Correctional Facility, and certain legislators calling for it to be shut down. Obviously, what occurred there was horrific, and it needs to be corrected. However, closing it down, is that the answer, and what do you think is going to happen?
Closing it down is not the answer. Obviously, to your point, it was a horrific incident that occurred. However, every day we have outstanding correction officers that go to work to make sure that we remain safe. So I have had many discussions with my colleagues and explained to them the importance of looking at this holistically versus attempting to say that closing one facility is the answer to this situation. So some of my colleagues have different perspectives. As we know, one of my colleagues spent the night there, but after speaking to him, he said that closing is something that he would like to reconsider. So as I talk to the various caucuses as well as colleagues on a one-to-one basis, it's not the answer. So let's take a look at how.
All right, Mary Ann, we appreciate your time. I think I lost you there for a moment, and but at the end of the day, we'll get you in studio real soon. We appreciate your time. Safe travels.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, Assemblywoman Mary Ann Buttonshaw. We are with Senator Joe Griffo as part of Joe Time here at the Rome Capitol Theater. Joe, you never stop doing business. I see you're like doing business as we speak here, but this is a big issue. And I understand what happened there, and I'm assuming you feel the same way. You always heard that if somebody was a pedophile, and I'm not saying that's the case here, but it might be beating up a woman, it might be whatever. You do something that is horrific. We always say, boy, you think the sentence was bad, wait till they get in jail. But we're always talking about the other inmates, because a lot of other inmates may have committed crimes, but when it comes to hurting a woman or hurting a child, they are as bothered by that as the rest of us. You don't think that it's the actual corrections officers that are doing this, and it seems like there is a culture of that has been occurring. That does not mean that all are bad. It means, hopefully it means the minority. But at the end of the day, it's not a reason to close the place, is it?
So those responsible for the death of Robert Brooks need to be held accountable. They need to face consequences, and there will be charges. The question immediately after this all happened was, why are there not charges? I don't know, but you have to rely on those. You have to rely on those who are involved in this process. There are 3 ongoing investigations, as well as an outside audit being done on the entire system. The governor directed the audit. The investigations include a federal investigation. The issue of, in my opinion, after my discussion with the Attorney General as well as the special prosecutor, I believe the reason, and I'm not an attorney, that there are no charges is because when they level charges, they want to make sure those charges stick. And they want to make sure they're not going to let anybody have an opportunity to skate on this in any way, to use a loophole in the law. And so I think they're handling this seriously. For those who believe that there's not an intense focus on this,
there's a cover up
or an interest in trying to.
There's no covering this up.
No, trying to provide justice. I believe that that's what they're trying to do, to make sure when they do charge these individuals, the charges will stick, and they will be serious charges. So now,
and the other part of this, I think that is important to note is each of the guards who were involved in some way, and there may be those who knew and did not report, there are different levels of criminality.
Correct.
So they're going to have to weed through all of that to see who was responsible potentially for the death. And I've also heard there's evidence that he came from a facility where he had been beaten by inmates, and the question is, did that contribute to the death? So there's an awful lot, I think, here
to look at
that needs to be, but ultimately that is a horrible thing that happened. But is it a reason to close the facility?
No violence is acceptable, and there are different levels and incidents of violence that they're trying to address system-wide.
Yeah, okay.
And that is violence that occurs inmate against inmate, inmate against officer, officer against inmate in this case. So I don't know that they can definitively say there's a culture of violence that is systemic, but that's what will be determined, particularly from this outside audit. And
maybe we want to know why.
And the matter of factness there that you indicated of people watching and not engaging, that's an issue and a concern. I mean, we had that. There's a psychology term there that was involved after a murder in New York City with Kitty Genovese. They call it the bystander effect, where people just don't engage. So there's actually a
George Floyd.
psychological.
That was another good example of that.
So all of these things will be brought into the equation as they continue to look at this. And again, I think for those who are concerned, justice will be served. But also, you cannot demonize an entire community or a facility, because in this particular instance, the institution is not the issue, in my opinion. And I think system-wide, people are going to look at what goes on within those institutions that have to be changed. And quite honestly, some of the policies that many of the progressives have advocated and implemented
I want to go next.
may contribute to some of the things that are happening. Let me just finish this point, though,
Okay,
because
I'll
what you
go back
said
to that.
about closure. So I've had conversations with the commissioner. I've had conversations with the governor. And I don't believe personally that the answer is a closure of a particular facility, because you still have, what are you going to do?
Burdens the rest of them.
You're going to move, but you have a
Well,
system-wide issue.
she has the green light to close prisons right now.
She does.
4 or 5 in the state.
She has up to 5 within this budget, which concludes on March 31st. But also there's been a change because there was only a 90-day notice given until December 31st if they were going to close it. Now they have to go to a 12-month notice if they're going to close a facility.
And the other part of this, though, is there are shared services up here, which really makes this cost effective.
Well, that's the point. I mean, when you're looking at these things, are you serving the objective of the prison system?
Yeah.
And then what is going on within that? So it doesn't become a jobs issue. It becomes more of a administrative and operational type of situation where this is a hub for mental health. This is a hub for a number of other things that are taking place. Yeah, you did. That's okay.
Getting abused over here.
That's for the comment in the 6 o'clock hour, Joe.
Yeah, so the point is that there are a number of things that the institution provides to the system here, right? But ultimately, what you have here, and let's use a sports analogy because we talked about the Oscars, but we had Hall of Fame inductees named the other day too. You got people in the bleachers calling balls and strikes. They're not behind home plate, and they really don't know. So the assemblyman who's been up here, who's a former incarcerated individual, I think is grandstanding to a certain extent. I think he does believe, as a former incarcerated individual and inmate, he has a particular perspective that he's providing. But I think that's wrong too, in the sense that saying close this facility is not going to be the answer to the systemic issues that happen within the walls.
Right,
There's an entire
right.
culture. You remember talking about movies? What about there was a show on I think it was HBO called Oz. You know, like what happens in It's a unique society and culture that almost exists.
Is Marcy almost this event almost a scapegoat in a way that the governor has to make one less, hard decision to close somebody's prison?
Look, one of my colleague in the Senate, who's co-signed a letter, believes that no prison should be open. She doesn't believe in prisons. So she's a member of the Socialist Democrats of America. I mean, they have a particular philosophic and political position, okay? That motivates them ultimately. This guy Gibbs, I'm not
kids,
sure.
by the way, are all in prison. Just by the way she brought that
up.
But
I don't
love that story.
I don't believe the governor has a predetermined notion here to close a facility. I think she's trying to get this right, to hold people accountable.
So you think we can avoid closure?
I do believe so.
The other part of this that I don't think can be ignored is these, whether it be the Hatch Act, bail reform, all of these things that have occurred.
HALT
Act. I'm sorry. Hatch Act is different. Thank you. But that HALT Act in particular is affecting corrections officers to the point where and inmates as well. So I think it gives confidence to the inmates. It ties the hands of it creates a frustration which can then lead to certainly contribute to where we are today.
I totally agree with that, and we see that in bail right now, where it's a catch and release, and now the governor's actually recognized and acknowledging that.
And you have police officers who are frustrated.
Right,
who are
absolutely.
like, why do we need to arrest this person? They're just going to be back out on the street and do it all over again tomorrow.
Right, exactly. So that's why I think we need to exercise common sense and bring some balance into the development of policy here. But I don't believe that this is a cause for closure of a particular specific institution. And from my conversations, I believe the governor is approaching this properly at this point in time.
And you are working on the issue to make sure
we are
that
working on the issue collaboratively. It's a joint effort from all of our elected officials, from bipartisan, from the assemblywoman, the assemblyman, the county executive, myself, and I do believe that we're on top of the issue. We're engaging, and again, you don't cast aspersion on a whole group of people. I mean, many of the correctional officers, men and women who serve and work the state of New York, are honorable people who are doing a difficult job under challenging circumstances, and we should not chastise or stigmatize all of them.
We are live at the Rome Capitol Theater, and we're sitting in the lobby looking out onto the street. And I just want to ask you something about the people of Rome. I've noticed that everyone who goes by, they don't walk by, they run by. Do people in Rome run, or is it just because it's so cold out?
Probably it's so cold, but your temperature is inaccurate, so it's
it's
However, I want to let you know, just a point of history here. This is West Dominic Street. During my time as mayor, I reopened this street because under the urban renewal.
Look at the guy's running. He's running again. Everybody runs by. Nobody walks here.
So we reopened it, and now you have that opportunity to run by and drive by.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas before it was
you
a
couldn't
plaza.
even do that.
Right.
All right, fair enough. We are, as I said, are live here at the Rome Capitol, and we'll be here through 9 o'clock. Coming up, they're about next door to hold their Oscars nomination party, or their viewing, I guess they call it a watch party,
viewing
right?
events.
The Steve Pawnee Mazda New Year Mazda sales event is going on right now. Take advantage of it. They've increased their inventory with over 150 new Mazdas available. You can save on a new Mazda lease or enjoy 0.9% APR financing on new 25 Mazdas. That's 2025 Mazdas. CX-30s, 5s, 50s, CX-70s, and CX-90s. See the dealership for details. They'll walk you right through it. And as Rick always says, come in and let us make your deal on a new Mazda. From the dealership that's achieved first place nationally in customer satisfaction, it's Steve Pawnee Mazda Commercial Drive in Yorkville. And I realize we're in Oneida County and we're in Rome and there's much to do. We're in one of those places where there's a lot to do.
Oh, yeah.
But Herkimer County is saying, hey, don't forget to travel east. There are many things going on. From the slopes of Macaulay Mountain, you can explore hundreds of miles of scenic, well-groomed snowmobile trails, ice fishing, snowshoeing, and cross-country skiing. There is so much to do in Herkimer County. They also have a website where you can find all the events that are happening in town and throughout the county. And if you have an event, could be everything from a big event like Jimmy Fallon at the Capitol Theater. That already happened, right? Or maybe you're having a garage sale. Go to herkimercountyny.gov. You can see what's going on, and you can submit as well. Herkimer County. It is true. It's where history, commerce, and beauty collide, all happening all winter long in Herkimer County. Okay, we got a break, and we're going to come back here to the Rome Capitol Theater. A lot to get to. We're going to talk to a board member. We've got a deputy sheriff to get to, and Senator Joe Griffo in studio at WIBX.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually, in fact, true. How would you like up to $4,000 of free windows? And when I say $4,000 of free windows, I mean $4,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $4,000 to get $4,000 free. You just get up to $4,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of these restrictions are income-based, and you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome. W295EI. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Defending his pardons, questioning the ones by his predecessor.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump tells Fox's Hannity the pardons and commutations he gave about 1,500 January 6 defendants convicted over the Capitol riot were deserved.
They were treated like the worst criminals in history. And you know what they were there for? They were protesting the vote because they knew the election was rigged.
Now, Democrats and some police officers wounded during the riot are critical of the January 6 clemency. President Trump also critical of the preemptive pardons President Biden gave his brothers and sister and other family members before leaving office, telling Fox people thought he might do that 4 years ago.
They said, sir, would you like to pardon everybody, including yourself? I said, I'm not going to pardon anybody. We didn't do anything wrong.
Now, Congress has investigated Biden family overseas business dealings. The president also told Fox he's planning to battle Democrats in sanctuary cities and planning to resist his plan for mass deportation of illegal immigrants.
This was a gross miscarriage of common sense to allow people to come in.
Now, another Trump priority, ending work from home for federal workers. And Fox's Brooke Singman reports.
The U.S. Office of Personnel Management last night issued a memo writing the only way to get employees back to the office is to adopt a centralized policy requiring return to work. Agencies must now revise their telework policy and tell workers of a return to in-person work by 5 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Some exceptions there include disability and qualifying medical conditions.
President Trump also tells Fox he wants to reform FEMA, so states handle disaster response with federal financial aid.
If they have a tornado someplace and if they let that state, Oklahoma is very competent. I love Oklahoma.
Tomorrow, President Trump will go to areas of North Carolina devastated last year by hurricane flooding and then travel to the Los Angeles area where 2 new wildfires burn after others torched thousands of homes and buildings. America's listening to Fox News.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Terry's Tiny Homes, Terry! Sure, as the only employee of her company, Terry was probably the front runner, but saving money getting personalized discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive, well, that gave Terry the edge. Over Terry.
Terry, Terry.
Keep awkwardly
Terry,
chanting your own name, Terry. You deserve it. Woo! Be your own Terry. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
You said bye-bye to big government. Now it's time to trim the fat from Big Wireless. Pure Talk gives you the exact same service. They use the same cell towers, the same 5G network. You get better customer service, and you pay half the price for the exact same thing. Get unlimited talk, text, 15 gigs of data with mobile hotspot for just $35 a month. Make the switch. You simply dial pound 250, say the keyword save now, save an additional 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
Now, President Trump is warning Russia he could impose more sanctions and even tariffs and damage the Russian economy if leader Vladimir Putin does not work out a deal to end the war in Ukraine.
President Zelensky would like to have peace. He's told me that very strongly. He'd like to have peace, but it takes 2 to tango. We'll see what happens.
Now, that's something President Trump may discuss with other world leaders gathered in Davos, Switzerland, in a virtual address this morning. The head of NATO is also there and worried about the alliance and the war in Ukraine.
NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte says members need to spend more money now to shore up their defence, much more than the previous target of 2% of GDP. Rutte is one of many world leaders speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. He fears the frontline battle in Ukraine is going in the wrong direction, but warns any deal to end the war cannot be favourable to Russia.
It would only mean that we will see the president of Russia high-fiving with the leaders of North Korea, Iran and China.
Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
Yet another Trump nominee has a confirmation hearing today. The president's choice to be Agriculture Secretary.
Brooke Rollins will make her case before the Senate Committee on Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry as the Trump administration has released a number of endorsements from ag groups supporting her. Rollins most recently served with the America First Policy Institute, a think tank that advocates for President Trump's policies. She was among a handful of nominees whose confirmation was postponed due to delays with completing an FBI background check and paperwork with the Office of Government Ethics. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Now, Democrats don't have enough votes to block any of the Trump nominees, but so far, only Secretary of State Marco Rubio has been confirmed by the Senate. On Wall Street, stock futures are mixed ahead of today's trading. They're up for the Dow, but down for the NASDAQ. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time 8:05. I'm Andrew Dominiel. We'll give you 10 degrees here in Marcy. Warm in the lobby here at the Capitol Theater. Your full weather forecast is coming up. A 41-year-old Utica resident who has a lengthy history of drug offenses, theft, and falsifying business records charges has been arrested yet again. The New Hartford Police Department reported Joe Lopez has an extensive criminal record with 13 active warrants issued by the department. New Hartford police say Lopez was involved in a theft investigation at Home Depot Tuesday. They say Lopez and his alleged co-conspirator, 53-year-old Aaron Holden of Utica, allegedly stole over $500 worth of merchandise from the store. Lopez's warrants arise from multiple incidents of merchandise theft from retailers previously, such as Kohl's, TJ Maxx, Dick's Sporting Goods, and Home Depot. He faces 14 counts of petty larceny and grand larceny. He was processed and taken to court to respond to these charges and was released on an appearance ticket. A wanted fugitive from Virginia has been taken into custody after being captured in the village of Whitesboro. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office says 41-year-old Hasimba Brown from Richmond, Virginia, was apprehended January 21st. In mid-January, members of the United States Marshals Service New York, New Jersey Regional Task Force was able to locate and arrest Brown. He was currently on parole in Virginia for a manslaughter conviction in New York and was wanted by the Chesterfield County, Virginia Sheriff's Office on several charges. Task force members successfully apprehended Brown without incident in Whitesboro. The New York State Nurses Association is calling for members at Oneida Hospital to receive a fair contract. The association says before the last contract expired on December 31st, hospital management threatened to stop bargaining. Nurses say they want clear and enforceable staffing standards and also improved wages and benefits. A spokesperson for Oneida Health says the hospital values all of its nurses and is looking forward to working out a deal. And after serving customers for a decade, the Margaritaville restaurant at Destiny, USA is closing its doors. The chain was founded in 1985 by the late singer Jimmy Buffett and has 23 locations across the U.S. and Canada. The final day for Margaritaville has not been announced, but officials in the mall say its shutdown is one of multiple leases that'll be expiring earlier this year. There are also plans in the works to upgrade Regal Cinemas and install pickleball courts at the shopping center.
So I got to tell you, we were wasting away at Margaritaville.
Oh, yeah, we were.
At the mall. Wasting away. I've never been in that.
Were you looking for that lost shaker of salt?
I was
looking
for
my flip flop.
I actually was hiding salt shakers all over the place, screwing with people. We went to the Margaritaville Resort in New York City. And that's unbelievable.
They have a cruise ship now, a Margaritaville cruise ship.
They do. In New York City, they have pools. There are like 3 pools.
So is it a hotel?
It's a hotel.
Okay.
It is a resort
and
in Times Square.
It has the restaurant in Margaritaville?
It's got the restaurant. It's got several restaurants.
So what are they attributing this closure to? Is it just...
The mall in Syracuse is just struggling horribly, and nothing is working there because you walk in and you think you might get tackled or shot.
That's sad there because Pyramid.
So much has been put into that place.
Oh yeah,
yeah. They have invested so much, and that was rivaling actually on a smaller scale what you saw in Minnesota, the Mall of America, and things of that nature. So some malls are still flourishing.
2 things. As long as you're saying that, Crossgate's still doing pretty well.
Right.
The mall in
Rochester,
outside Rochester, Eastview is killing it. That's a really nice mall. Those restaurants are still doing very well. But the mall in Buffalo is horrible. There's another mall outside Rochester that is.
I don't know how the outlet malls. The Buffalo one is the Galleria.
Galleria is struggling.
So see that it's interesting. And what are the contributing factors? Is it that
it's better than our mall, right, but it's still a lot of the restaurants have shut down, and I don't know what makes one work and one not work. I will say.
Well, I think one of the elements you indicated, if people don't feel safe there. Or if and then if they don't have the right choice, it becomes a what's the word I want to look at it? It's like a domino effect, right?
It is.
In the sense
Yeah.
that if you don't feel safe, then you don't go. If you don't go, then the stores don't make a profit, then
and
they
it's
close.
less safe.
And it's
You're right.
So-
And what ends up happening is, what do? You invest less. So if you're a restaurant not doing well in the mall, you're not holding those nightly events that you used to hold. You're not bringing in live music.
You're
so
losing
the
staff.
decline continues. Yeah.
And look, there's so many societal changes that we see now, and what AI will be doing ultimately, the role it could play and will play. But I still think many of these things ebb and flow. Yeah, so
Could
the
be.
malls may come back again, where bricks and mortar may be what someone wants as opposed to sending out, online or
So
something.
it's Eastview in Rochester. That one, there are fireplaces in the seating areas. We were there a couple of weeks ago. It was packed. I'm like, why does this mall do well?
And Destiny, I think, played an important role really in this region to give people opportunities and choices and things of that nature.
I really felt Destiny, and you're right. They were competing to be the largest in the country, and I thought it was going to be in all that entertainment area and all of that stuff. I thought it was going to be huge, and it has been nothing but decline. So I just don't get it.
So you can't get wasted away in Margaritaville in Syracuse.
Not in Syracuse.
You better get that going while you still can.
Yeah.
How about
you
a forecast?
You can get a picture of you with the Statue of Liberty in Times Square and then head over to Margaritaville.
Right.
Or maybe you started in Margaritaville and ended up with the Statue of Liberty.
And then there's the naked cowboy. You can always.
I don't know that you'd be taking pictures of the naked cowboy, would you?
I'm taking the pictures while my wife is getting the picture with him. That's
You're
what
the picture
happens.
taker, yeah.
How about that forecast,
let's
Davey?
get it.
Here we go from the Weather Channel.
Well, the cold retreating with a blanket of clouds over us this morning. Temperatures are up, and we'll move today a little bit. Mid-20s. Still may feel below zero, especially this morning. Now, we'll get some snow showers tonight and tomorrow. That'll look like big accumulations here, but up in the North Country, especially into Oswego County, there could be multiple inches. I'm meteorologist Ray Stidgick at the Weather Channel on WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Don't give the temperature. Let's let Senator Griffo.
Oh, sure.
Current temperature, Senator Griffo, is
Wow. How about that one for being tongue-tied? But the current temperature is still 12 degrees, but the real feel is up to 8.
The real feel is up to 8.
Goodness
You can't tell by
gracious.
these people running by to their cars and stuff. I mean, they're running like crazy. By the way, the wealthiest musician in the world is
Taylor Swift.
Jimmy Buffett.
Jimmy Buffett.
Jimmy Buffett.
That's interesting.
Of course, he's dead, but he's.
So now the estate is
the
still...
estate is
The estate is
because
very wealthy.
they branched into so many different things. There's, as Rick Lewis said, they went to Margaritaville Island. There's the Margaritaville Resorts.
Oh, smart investments in
That
marketing.
brand, and they have a channel on radio. The brand is enormous. And Rick actually,
He's
loved
got a
it.
margarita right now.
He's been drinking margaritas all morning
I
long.
went to the Margaritaville in Orlando, and they have a crashed airplane in the pond in
I've
front
been to
of the
that one.
building.
Yeah, I've been to that one. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
And, live music and all that, and it works.
And
Yeah.
Bill, don't worry. Come Monday, it'll be all right.
Oh.
All right.
The Buffett puns. Andrew with sports here at 8:13.
Quickly, we'll just go through a few things here. The Jets have settled on their next head coach. According to ESPN, Detroit Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn is returning to the team that selected him in the first round of the 94 draft after being hired as the Jets head coach. The deal is a 5-year contract, meaning he's tied to the organization through 2029. The 52-year-old joins Walt Michaels as the only 2 players in Jets history to actually coach the team. The Green and White are still searching for a new general manager. The Nets' losing streak is up to 5 games after being blown out by the Phoenix Suns 108-84 at Barclays Center. Keon Johnson led the Nets in scoring with 20 points. Nick Claxton recorded a double-double with 10 points and a team-high 12 rebounds. The NBA has acknowledged a pair of missed calls from the Knicks' recent battle against the Nets. In the final 69 seconds of the game, Mikal Bridges should have been called with a shooting foul against D'Angelo Russell that would have resulted in 3 free throw shot attempts, and Keon Johnson should have been called for a shooting foul against Jalen Brunson. The Knicks held on for a 4-point win and are second in the Atlantic Division at 29-16. New York hosts the Sacramento Kings Saturday night at Madison Square Garden. And one more sad, tragic basketball story. The Syracuse men's basketball team comes up short of a second straight win following a double-digit loss.
They did not come up short. They were just humiliated. And you know what? The score doesn't. What was the final score?
It was 86-72.
Okay, that looks like it wasn't so bad. It's because in the last 2 minutes, Syracuse was hitting 3-pointers, and I don't know, the second string was in, but Clemson just overran Syracuse.
That booty down
now,
in South
I got to say
Carolina.
one thing to note, Davey, and you probably will agree with this. Clemson is really good this year.
15-4 they are.
Yeah. So
it was 46-28 to half.
Yeah. It was bad, and the score may seem like it was somewhat close, but it was not. It was not. Okay, and then anything further? I have some comments.
That's it.
Wayne.
Kathy for Senator Joe Griffo.
Wayne, my cousin said the biggest problem with Woodstock was not enough food, water, or bathrooms. How do you want to respond to that, Joe?
I think, looking back now, I thought there were a lot of food options. It may be the cost associated with the food. Water, there were public water areas. Again, what happened at one time is we had some infrastructure failures that I remember that were taking place. If fountains weren't working, then you were forced, if you wanted water, to buy water. So that could have been done differently and better. What was the other point? Water, food, and
bathrooms.
Bathrooms. So that
the
goes
bathroom
back.
thing was a problem.
That goes back to that infrastructure situation. But I think at the time too. In fact, we have an individual from Rome who is in business doing that now, and goes and handles natural disasters, builds these entire areas and systems.
That would have worked for Woodstock,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, so now, but that it was preliminary then, right?
Yeah.
So now it's more modernized, and you can make those things work differently and better. It's not an excuse either,
Wayne also says the Comets won last night against the Islanders. That is true.
It was Rob Esch's birthday yesterday.
It was.
Happy birthday.
Let's see. Donna says, I only see Davey on YouTube. Well, that's because we're
not there.
We're out here at Rome Capital.
Lance and Lee speaking up this morning. Andrew, why is everyone forgetting about the second strike against Marcy Correctional? Judge Anthony Brindisi just ruled against the prison in a huge civil case. We don't have the political clout in this area to withstand it from being shuttered, just like the Oneida Correctional Facility not so long ago. Same song, different dances, some would say.
All right, save that quote, and if you're able to save this thing, Lance and Lee's going to come out and apologize to you.
Yeah, the Oneida at the time, I'll tell you how some of these prison closures, in my opinion, were done. At the time, Rome was split in half, and Dave Valesky represented that area, I represented the other, and I think what they were trying to do under Cuomo was find balance. So he was going after upstate, downstate, Democrat, Republican, so nobody could say, we hit all Republican areas, but no Democrats, and you had 4 prisons in the area, so there was an opportunity to say, close 1, there's still 3. So I think all of those factors were part of the consideration at that time. This is a little different situation right now. And I think the report he's indicating that took place with the lawsuit that was undertaken and the judgment that was ruled, again, is not a reflection of everything and everyone. So
let's see what
this
happens.
will unfold and evolve.
Mike this morning says, great idea to use unused mall space for pickle courts. Here's an idea. Perhaps allow the empty Macy's store to become a pickleball court, and then the area next to it that has closed also could be an urgent care. Great way to drum up business. The urgent care will take care of the injuries at the pickleball court. I like it. I do think we're going somewhere there.
The other deeds in New Hartford.
A little sarcasm.
And let me do one more because it's related. I think that might have been a little sarcasm. The success of malls are based on the demographics of the people who live in proximity to the mall. Rochester, there's more wealth and educated folks in Rochester. Let me tell you, it is the case because the stores there are New York City. They are pristine. Like my wife was like, they have stores here that I can only find in New York City. So, a lot of money in Rochester.
That's an obvious fact. That's why Wegmans isn't here,
Yeah.
because Wegmans bases their decisions on demographics. Also, there was always this tale about a handshake between the
Yeah,
Go-Obs and the
I don't think
Wegmans.
that's true.
But anyway, demographics is definitely a determination as to where they locate. So.
And a couple
Needs
more.
in New Hartford saying this area cannot support the stores that draw, to Bill's point, i.e. Lululemon, Lego, Build-A-Bear. I mean, look at all the designer stores they have that wouldn't make it here.
Okay.
Good
you may be
points.
right.
Good
Yeah.
points.
Yeah. Kathy in Rome. Kathy, we're in Rome. And you're on with Senator Joe Griffo. Good morning.
Good morning. I have two questions. One, I see there was an age limit on the community college. Not that we're going to go back to school, but I thought that was kind of strange. Free community college up to a certain age, and also the rebate checks. If she puts the tax on the oil, then she might as well keep the rebate check.
Yeah. She putting a tax on oil?
The
and
governor?
gas, yeah. An additional tax?
I haven't looked at all of the things she's recommending, but I don't see it at this point in time. But we're going to look at everything that she's proposing. Like I said, many times when they say there's no due taxes, they put fees on and things of that nature.
One of the things to our advantage is that she's looking at her poll numbers and she's trying to.
But there are climate people in the Senate and the Assembly
Sure.
majorities who do want to tax
This I
fuel.
saw that Smullen has got a press conference where he is calling for schools to be able to opt out of the electric school bus thing.
Yeah,
We're not ready for it.
Right. Well, again,
Yeah.
we're not approaching things with common sense.
Yeah.
We're not saying nobody's saying abandon embracing clean energy, but do it reasonably and realistically. From the school bus issue, there's an affordability and a reliability issue right now. They're not acknowledging or accepting that, but that is truthful.
Yeah.
So
I heard 22,
a lot of work to be done.
22 cents a gallon more for.
I have not heard that, and I would find that she said a 22-cent tax per gallon. No, I don't think that's going to happen. And by the way, I just want to tell you something, Kathy. Before I go to break, I know it's 8 degrees out. It's really cold, or whatever Senator Griffo says it is. It is really cold, but guess what's just around the corner? The Kentucky Derby. That's how I'm looking at it. And pitchers and catchers reporting soon.
It's
we
13
can't
degrees.
forget March Madness also.
It's coming.
That's
okay,
correct.
Kathy, you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, quick break. We'll go back to the Rome Capitol Theater as they celebrate the Oscar nominations next door. And we have Senator Joe Griffo, and it's Joe time at the Capitol in Rome.
We've been overindulging a little more than usual over the holidays. But now, we are starting the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. So if better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief.
Active Liver is available in both tablets and as a delicious gummy. You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
I went in for a regular prostate screening and my lab results showed my PSA level were elevated.
We repeated the lab test and the second test came back elevated too. We did a biopsy and the biopsy showed cancer in certain areas of Philip's prostate.
Dr. Ba performed a prostatectomy at Wayne Hospital using robotic surgery to remove the cancer.
We were able to cure him with smaller incisions and he had a quick recovery.
Since the surgery, all my PSA level has been normal. I am proof that early detection can prevent something far worse.
I had been lifting something heavy, felt a tinge in my back. I also had some shortness of breath, but thought it was due to what I figured was some kind of muscle pull. I was wrong.
The episodes of pain that Ray was experiencing were actually small heart attacks. The Wynn Emergency Department was able to provide immediate life-saving care to Ray's heart.
If it wasn't for the amazing team at Wynn, I might not be here at all. I feel indebted to everyone who helped make Wynn Hospital a reality so I can get the immediate care I needed right when I needed it.
Thank you for giving my daddy back home.
What does it feel like to file with TaxSlayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refund has belonged to me.
Using the power of TaxSlayer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax-confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use TaxSlayer.
Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
We're your complete appliance center, and we service what we sell. Dave Hayes
Visit Dave Hayes Appliance Center to see the Whirlpool washer with 2 ways to wash thanks to the 2-in-1 removable agitator. With a flexible capacity, you can take the agitator out for bulky loads or keep it in for items like jeans. Shop now at Dave Hayes Appliance Center and get twice the washer you have at home. Dave Hayes Appliance Center, 5168 Commercial Drive, Yorkville, or online at davehayesappliance.com.
Hey, it's WIBX's Bill Keeler. Get ready for Wing Wars as we crown the best wings in Central New York. With a $35 ticket, you get to sample the wings, pizza, and drink. I'm going to be a judge along with Senator Joe Griffo, Assemblywoman Buckenshawn, Sheriff Mashel, Jason Paulus, Bill Vinci. Proceeds benefit the Joseph Michael Chubbuck Foundation, which provides funds to assist cancer patients in active treatment. Saturday, noon till 3, Harts Hill Inn, sponsored in part by WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, celebrating 100 years in 2025.
This is Keeler in the Morning, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
For Senator Joe Griffo's temperature. Julie says, for what it's worth, my office is across the street from you guys at the Capitol. My car thermometer says it's 15 degrees.
So Vicky, who
she's
is
more
here,
along what I'm saying.
She's saying, Joe, I have your back.
There you go. Well, I actually have a news affiliate who agrees with me, too. There's a meteorologist right now saying that it's 14 degrees. So
you said 12, so you're wrong.
Who's the meteorologist?
On the NBC affiliate here, WKTV.
Cardis?
So, well, Cardis hasn't done it. It might be
He's
Mac.
sleeping right now.
It might be Mac. Eric.
Yeah. I don't think he knows. Cardis doesn't know. They're using the same thing we're using. I don't know. Maybe he does. Donna says an outlet mall would be huge for the area.
Those always do well.
But again, the issue with that, and I understand and appreciate when people offer the opinions, but having been involved in the mayors here, having been involved in local government, you're out there and you're attempting to recruit and interact, but it's not always that easy because stores have their own assessments, and they look at a number of factors and trying to determine where they're going to locate relative to demographics, profitability, potential, things of that nature. So the outlets in this area right now are at right outside of Rochester, right near Waterloo, in that area.
So there's Waterloo. You can go downstate. My wife loves the one downstate. And then you can go to Niagara Falls. The problem you have is this is what you're saying is. And then I think there might be right off as you go on the Mass Turnpike somewhere over near Springfield.
Right past Albany, right.
So I think the problem you have is you already have stops every 75 miles, and it would be hard to add another one.
And these individuals, remember the Turning Stone was actually, looking at it, and if they weren't able to put it together, that tells you something.
They weren't able to put it together because they did their market research, and it showed no
bueno.
Yeah. What we ought to do is legalize pot. Then we'll all be good.
There's another illustration where there's concerns right now because when you talk about marijuana, the medicinal marijuana is starting to face challenges right now, which I think is unfortunate because that's the true significance and important aspect. If you can help people clinically, then you should be able to do that. And they may be suffering because of the access now to recreational weed.
And some of that stuff smells so differently. I don't understand what is going on there. Right now, Lieutenant Curtis Morgan in from the United County Sheriff's Office. Lieutenant, run up to that microphone, and good morning. The sheriff is at a conference in Albany right now, right?
That is correct, and thanks for having me.
And you're the man.
I am the replacement.
Oh, okay.
The movie from the 90s, The Replacements, that's me today.
Yes, that is you. So tell us about the Blue Envelope program. What is this?
So this is a program that we just rolled out through the New York State Sheriff's Association, and it's to help people with autism. And the research that we've been able to find shows about 1 in 3 people with autism, or teens at that point, may acquire a driver's license. The point being is this Blue Envelope, as simple as it might be, and the simplicity is why it's going to work, it can contain things like your registration, insurance, and driver's license.
You would keep this in your vehicle?
Correct. This would stay in your vehicle. In an event of a traffic stop, sometimes people tend to freeze up and can't answer the questions that need to be answered. The envelope is for that information. So if that person, all they have to say is, I have a blue envelope, and then the blue envelope can come out, whether it takes a little bit of time. The officer then knows maybe there's something else going on here. Maybe this person's just not answering.
How many cases are there? This is something the sheriff has done a great job of working with parents of kids who have some sort of a situation, a disability. And we've seen cases around the country where a person did not react properly to police and it ended very badly. This could be the conduit to communicate.
This is that proactive step.
I like this.
Right. No one wants to have that problem. I can look around this room here and assume that most of us are parents. If we're not parents, we're aunts and uncles. And no one wants to hear of a bad outcome with a child, with an adult, with someone who has a challenge. This person is doing the best that they can. They're obviously succeeding well. And just because they're not able to answer a question at a traffic stop shouldn't lead to a tragic outcome.
Yeah. Right, because what ends up happening is the voices get louder. It becomes yelling. That person shuts down. All right, how do you get these, by the way?
So these can be acquired right through the sheriff's office. People can contact the sheriff's secretary. Her phone number is 315-765-2222.
Is this universal? So if you're traveling in another county, if you're traveling where New York State Police are pulling you over, or local police.
Absolutely. This is a statewide program, and that's the benefit. This comes through the New York State Sheriff's Association.
Okay.
So every one of the sheriffs in New York State has access to this information. We here locally are reaching out to state and local agencies. We're letting them know what they are. We're trying to get them to them if they want to have a supply of them also, so then that way they can hand them out to the members of their community. At the end of the day, if these aren't in the hands of the people in the community, they're not going to help.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things on here is it not only gives some information for the driver, maybe what to expect if they're in a traffic stop, but it also gives some information for the person that's at the window, the police officer, deputy sheriff, trooper, you name it. And at the very bottom of that, it's got a name and a phone number. And that's for name and a phone number of somebody to call, right? So let's just say it's Bill. Bill is my father, and I am the one that's not answering the questions. It's got Bill's name and phone number on there, and now the person at the window can reach out to him and, hey, I've got your son here. He's not answering any questions. Is there maybe a topic I can bring up with him to try to bring that stress level down? And whatever it may be to get that conversation rolling. We're lucky enough that we live in, although it's a large community, it's also a really small community. You say, hey, I'm going to head over that way. Here's what I'm driving. And then that way maybe you can come and assist with that conversation and help lower those tensions and all about having a successful interaction.
Great program, and you can reach out to the Sheriff's Department for questions.
Absolutely.
All right. Lieutenant, thank you.
Thank you.
I love this. This is really, really good. We'll do a quick break, come back to the Rome Capitol Theater. I believe the nominations are close, and we'll be able to announce those by the time we get out of here. But I got a whole bunch more to squeeze in with Senator Joe Griffo coming up at WIBX.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
When disaster strikes, the food supply is the first domino to fall. It can start quietly, an emergency alert, a breaking news headline. But within hours, reality sets in. People rush to grocery stores, emptying shelves of everything from bread to canned goods. Lines stretch out the door, tempers flare, and desperation takes hold. And no matter who's in charge these days, you simply can't rely on the government to bail you out. That's why having an emergency food supply on hand is the right move for you and your family. Right now, you can get $50 off a 4-week emergency food kit at mypatriotsupply.com. They're an American company trusted by millions, offering 2,000 calories per day with essential vitamins and minerals to keep you strong during a crisis. This food will be there for you when you need it, since it lasts up to 25 years and can ship out to you next day. Go to mypatriotsupply.com now to get $50 off your 4-week emergency food kit. That's mypatriotsupply.com.
Give you that chair right there.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time 8:35. I'm Andrew Dominio. Quick update: nurses in the New York State Nurses Association is calling for members at Oneida Hospital to receive a fair contract. The association says before the last contract expired on December 31st, hospital management threatened to stop bargaining. Nurses say they want clear and enforceable staffing standards and also improved wages and benefits more at the top of the hour. Same with the fugitive out of Virginia that was arrested in Whitesboro in the Village, part of an investigation by the U.S. Marshals New York, New Jersey Regional Task Force. More details coming up at the top of the hour on that as well. And the 41-year-old Utica resident who has a lengthy history of drug offenses, theft, and falsifying business records. He has been arrested again. New Hartford police say he was being looked out for with 13 active warrants issued by the department. Lopez and his co-conspirator were allegedly accused of stealing $500 worth of merchandise from the Home Depot. He had previous arrests for theft incidents at Kohl's, TJ Maxx, Dick's Sporting Goods, and the Home Depot.
Now, does that person get released again?
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Yes,
good.
After the 14th time, right back on the street. They dropped him off at a TJ Maxx parking lot. No, they didn't. We'll pick you up here in 20 minutes.
We thought we'd save you the drive. Here you go.
And the Syracuse men's basketball team come up short for a second straight win following a double-digit loss on the road. 86-72 the final there in South Carolina.
As I said, the game didn't look like it was as bad as it was all that bad. They lost by 13 points, something like that. They kind of Clemson let their guard down, and Syracuse was hitting 3-pointers for the first time all game long, and it made it a little closer, but it was a terrible blowout. Before we break, let's bring in Mayor Lanigan, who's made his way in here. Good morning, Mayor. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm trying to get this out so I can look this way. So, what in the hell is going on with the temperature in Rome? I don't get it. It's way too cold for me.
Listen, I've told everybody Joe's the rock and roll mayor. I'm the natural disaster weather mayor.
Okay, you have become that.
Yeah, I really am. It's unbelievable. I got a tornado. I've got the most snow we've had since the 60s, and now negative temperatures.
This is very interesting because I have family that lives between Mohawk and Richfield Springs, so to the east. We're in Marcy, New Hartford, and those areas. He's in Deerfield.
And North Utica, Deerfield.
And
3.5 feet.
You've had a lot of snow. My parents, who normally to the east get hit hard every year, more than we have, always, they can see grass on their lawn. And I probably have 6 inches in the New Hartford area. And you come out here to Rome, and you guys have feet. Especially as you go to the north. It's unbelievable.
Bragging again.
Sorry about that. It's crazy. This lake effect is so localized.
Yeah, we got hit with that band, and we didn't think it was ever going to stop. I mean, it just kept coming down for 4 straight days. So.
And I'm not sure we're done with all of this. Obviously, it's the cold is unbearable, but it does seem like this is all just going to be what we're dealing with it's a cycle.
Absolutely. I think it's, we got so used to not getting the heavy snow for so many years. We had so many light winters, and now we get hit with this storm, and every week they're calling for more storms, and I think we might be back to what it was
it seems that
10
way.
Years ago.
Global freezing is the new thing. Huh? Ice Age, is that what it is? So how are you doing on recovery from the tornado? I know that here, right in the place that we're in the Rome capital, their cinema is still down and will be until the springtime. How are you doing? Obviously, we're going to talk to the county executive coming up, but between the county executive and our state officials, really, I think everybody's done a tremendous job. I'm not sure FEMA has helped as much as we need it, although look at the disasters they're dealing with around the country.
Yeah.
So how are things?
Things are good. Obviously, we had a great partnership with the county executive, Senator Griffo. All of our electeds, they really stepped up during the tornado and helped out. And our recovery efforts have been great. We really, to get our power restored and all the streets cleaned up in less than 5 days was remarkable. And then the cleanup afterwards. You saw buildings start coming down and getting things picked up throughout the entire community, not just down here in downtown, but the other neighborhoods. And then now, it's sad to see, but seeing St. Mary's come down, that cleanup. We're going to have another building start coming down within the next couple of months. We tried to get everything done before the winter came because we knew that was going to make it difficult with contractors and just working around the snow and everything.
And if there was a weak roof, this snow was going to wreak havoc on it.
And that's why we tried to work as quickly as we did. But I think we did a great job. We're at a good point right now, and we'll kick it off again in the springtime when we're able to do more.
Have you reached a point where you're at least thinking about the possibility that this is the potential new normal that we have to deal with?
It is looking. You had so many tornadoes over this past year in New York State, so it is getting to something where you're starting to say, "Hey, is this going to be something that we need to, like the snowstorms? Is this also something we're going to have to worry about in the summer months?" So.
Senator Griffo, it's nuts.
Absolutely, and the county executive mayor, they've done extraordinary work. The recovery is ongoing. I was actually impressed yesterday. I think the president indicated yesterday that FEMA's a mess and that it needs to be restructured. And that he was talking about working with states and local governments, but then providing funding. So it'll be interesting to see if they have a new format or structure that they have in mind. But it's encouraging that he's recognizes and acknowledged FEMA's a mess, and it's got to be changed, basically.
I think I saw a story last night on NBC that this family who they lost their home in the wildfires in Southern California, they went to get their emergency FEMA funding, and they were told, "I'm sorry, you've already collected it." The forgery and the criminality that's going on. But what amazed me is they acknowledged the fact that the people had been cheated, but they still turned them away. There was nothing for them. I mean, it's just I hate to say, but when there's tragedy, and I'm assuming you had some of this here in Rome, but not to the level of what they're dealing with in California.
Tony's dealt with it several times, right?
Sad thing. Good morning.
Good morning.
The sad thing, having gone through flooding that we did, and, when you talk about the new normal, I mean, we had floods in like every other year from 2011 right through 2021. I mean, and so dealing with that, and the problem is, FEMA, puts out the statement or whatever, and everybody gets their hopes up. And that's even worse than when they come and tell you nothing because everybody's expecting that to be, a lifesaver or that people can, grasp onto and get some assistance. But, I'm encouraged by the president saying that it is a disaster. I had a meeting with county execs last week, and we talked about this. And this is one of the things we want to bring down to our organization and go to Washington in March and talk about it, because there has to be a system in place for smaller communities like Rome, in which, and Oneida County, we're not big by any stretch, that the offsets are covered. I mean, because governments like ours just can't, you can't pour millions of dollars into these recoveries that we don't have. And what do you tell people? I mean, we get insurance. We got insurance recovery, and the mayor knows this. I mean, we've been dealing hand in hand on this. We get insurance recovery, but there's other costs. It does not cover everything. Anybody that knows that in their homes and everywhere else, it doesn't cover everything. FEMA has to have a better system in place, and I'm hopeful that we can kind of make a mark and say, here's a perfect example. I mean, Rome is a perfect example, because there's other pieces. The landscape of the city that got demolished needs to be rebuilt.
Right. Mayor, are you at the very least trying to be optimistic and thinking now maybe we can have a normal year like you had expected when you became mayor?
That's what I'm hoping. Everybody keeps telling me, "Oh, don't worry, Mayor, it can't get worse." And
yeah, don't say that.
Yeah, exactly. And I tell them, but I did tell EADS. I said when I was up there for a tour about a month ago, I said, "Hey, if you guys do spot on the radar the pack of Lotus headed this way, just give me a phone call." That's all I asked for.
It
just give me a little bit of a heads up.
Or a meteor.
It does feel like. Did you see the latest? For the first time ever, a meteorite that came crashing to the ground was caught on a Ring camera.
Really?
Right outside somebody's house. It's quite a little. It's quite a sight. So I don't think we've ever seen that happen before.
Well,
so. Now that we want to.
Let's not talk
You're
too
right.
much
Good
about
point.
it.
Yeah. I'm starting to sweat over here.
Who
now.
knows?
The other part of this is it's really amazing in 2024 when this tornado, sweeps through Rome, which is so unheard of, but it just shows you how much video is out there, everyone has a camera at their disposal. It's just unbelievable. How much you can actually see. So we're hoping for you that you have a normal 2025.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
We'll break quickly and come right back and wrap it up here at Rome Capital at WIBX.
If you thought about a bed you can make soft and firm on each side before you buy one anywhere, shop the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort at Mattress Express. Compare features, compare price, and compare warranty. 5 years, no interest, no money down for qualified buyers.
We're your complete appliance center. Dave Hayes.
Level up your cooking capabilities with a KitchenAid electric induction range. The induction cooktop offers precise control for a full range of cooking techniques. In the oven, even heat, true convection, and air fry mode allow you to brown and crisp your favorites. See the range that combines the precision of induction with the power of air fry at Dave Hayes Appliance Center, 5168 Commercial Drive, Yorkville, or online at davehayesappliance.com.
Hers weight loss is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions apply. Wegovy and Ozempic are not compounded.
Everyone's talking about the breakthrough of weight loss drugs, but too few can access or afford them. Hers is changing that. At forhers.com/radio, you can access doctor-trusted weight loss treatments tailored to you, like GLP-1 weekly injections with the same active ingredient as Ozempic and Wegovy, or oral medications at a fraction of the price. That's right. You'll save up to 91% per month on compounded semaglutide based on pricing through Hers. The same active ingredient as the name brand drug at 91% less. There's no hidden fees and no membership fees. Just one low, transparent price. And the process is 100% online. If prescribed, your personalized plan ships free directly to your door. Get started at forhers.com/radio to access affordable doctor-trusted weight loss plans that put you first. That's forhers.com/radio. FORHERS.com/radio.
It's a winter wonderland of deals at Steve Pawnee Chevrolet in Herkimer. Drive in to unbeatable offers on vehicles built to handle snow and ice. Lease the 2025 Equinox LT all-wheel drive for only $369 a month. Or tackle winter with the 2024 Silverado Crew Cab LT four-wheel drive. Lease for just $425 a month. Hurry, these deals won't last. Offers end January 31st. Customers must qualify with top-tier credit through GM Financial. Lease terms of 3 years, 10,000 miles per year. Mileage penalty of 25 cents per mile over 30,000 miles. Lessee must have a current Chevy lease in the household. Customer must qualify and sign up with a new GM card. All taxes, fees, $2,000 down on first payment due at delivery. Equinox stock number 25230. Silverado stock number 24621. See salesperson for details. Find your perfect winter ride today at Steve Pawnee Chevrolet in Herkimer, where it's always easy to do business. Together, let's drive.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, we're back here. All right, Andrew, do you want me to bring in Julie here? Do you? We can do that. And then we'll get everybody back in and wrap this up. We're live from the Capitol Theater, which, by the way, if we could just talk about for just a moment. Guys, good morning. I haven't said hello. Good morning. And Ann here in Rome had her own tornado problems. How's your place doing? Are you doing better?
Actually, I have to say I'm glad you asked me because I did have a lot of damage to my house, my garage, my yard. And I have to say, hats off to our elected officials. As soon as it hit, when I tell you I was trying to make phone calls, the mayor, county executive, Senator Griffo, they were spot on. They immediately had a command center set up. They were going through the streets before dark, and the county and the city workers early in the morning. I mean, we're talking 6:30. They worked nonstop for probably months, and they did a fantastic. You couldn't ask for better.
It really is it's what you expect of your government, right?
But it was a great team effort for something that never happens around here. I mean, they were spot on. They were immediately taking care of things. It's something to be proud of that our elected officials all work together.
Do you want to move the mic over and just give a quick introduction here and say hello to the legislator? Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
How are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
The two of these guys were at the Jimmy Fallon show.
Cindy Rogers-Witt.
At the Jimmy Fallon show, and Cindy and I were talking about the importance of getting out there and getting tested for cancer.
That's right.
It is. So Tim Reed and I, that's all we talk. I think people are getting sick of it, but I don't care. I'm going to keep talking about it.
Keep plugging away. Because you know what? It saved my life.
It has saved my life. So, and I almost kind of just gotten to the point where, all right, every 4 or 5 years, something new is going to pop along, and you're going to be ready for it. So, at least I'm prepared for that. So, but glad to see you here and doing well.
Thank you.
All right, wasn't that Jimmy Fallon show something?
That was wonderful.
It was. All right, cool.
Very funny.
Good seeing you.
And one of the great advantages of the new AI stuff could be with medical research and
it's unbelievable.
And helping, so.
Yeah. And Dr. Hall will always talk about that during COVID, about just the advances that were made, they were able to pull off with the COVID vaccine and the use now of artificial intelligence. Our world's about to change, especially in the world of medicine. And then when AI starts attacking us, the movies become real. It's going to be a lot of fun. Julie Whitmore is volunteer coordinator here. Julie, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So have the nominees come out yet?
I think they're coming out now.
Right now, yeah, probably are.
Live.
And you've got a crew over there that's really into this. It's which is really cool.
Yeah.
Talk about some of the things you have coming up here at the Rome Capitol. We just love the facility, and just like we love the Stanley, and it's just these are two gems that we're so lucky to have.
I agree.
What do you have coming up?
We have a lot of things coming up. Actually, this weekend, let's see, that'd be tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday, we have 3 screenings of 2001: A Space Odyssey. So that would be Friday at 7 and Saturday at 2:30 and 7. Those are our next movie events coming up.
Cool. And I saw, there's a tribute band coming.
Actually, there are a lot of them. I'm trying to remember them all.
Almost Queen.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yes. That I've seen excerpts from that show. It's really good. And then I wanted to ask just quickly before we let you go, what is the name of the cat?
Well, we have 2 cats.
Okay, there's one right there.
I saw it. There's one in the window right now.
Staring at us right now is Carl. He, I own the bookstore that was a couple doors down.
Okay.
And he was our resident cat. And after the tornado, he moved over here.
Okay, interesting.
He wanted an upgrade.
This has got to be a
lot of room to explore.
Pretty cool place to be.
Oh, he's living the dream.
Yeah, because it's large. You're a lot of nooks and crannies to take advantage of. So
he loves it.
And Joe, I want to say, Senator Griffo, thank you, by the way, and you're a volunteer here. You're a volunteer here?
No.
You're the coordinator who coordinates the volunteers here.
Yes.
Okay, good. Very nice. We won't tell the volunteers that you get paid.
I am not the volunteer coordinator.
Right.
Yeah,
you are the
director.
Coordinator. Senator Griffo, one of the things that was really the cap, the icing on the cake was the marquee. And that, I think, it just looks so beautiful out there.
Yeah, it does. It lights up. Lights up the entire community here in the West Dominic Street area, and it was something that we've been striving for a long time. And when the financing came through the downtown revitalization initiative, it gave them an opportunity to do this, and I think it looks marvelous.
Okay. Did we get everybody else in?
I think so.
I think
we can bring Rick. We can bring
Alex. No, I want Alex. No, come over
He's
here.
a newspaper guy.
Come over
Alex,
here.
get
Come
over here. Come
Just
on,
sit
peer
down
pressure.
for a second.
I know you're a former newspaper guy, but
Alex is what is his position? Chief of staff?
Well, tell he just made you chief.
Brian
of staff.
80 is probably chief of staff, right?
So Alex is our director of communications, handles all our social media, regular media, and a number of other things. Does a little bit of everything for us.
All right, Alex.
Stole him from Gannett, and I think he's found a good home.
Most of the time.
Aren't you glad, though, you got out when you did?
I am glad, but it's very sad to see what happened to the OD,
yeah.
but I think I made the right move.
Yeah. Who was harder to work for, Donna Donovan or Joe Griffo?
I never worked for Donna.
Oh, you did not?
She hired me, and then she retired, so I never had the opportunity to work
so
for
she
her.
did the
political answer there.
Yes.
Did you notice the distraction he just threw out there? We went completely turned and he never answered the question.
I learned from the best.
His daughters love him working for me, though. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Especially when he calls. So.
That is a...
Alex is also a regular recipient of the mail.
Alex went away for a couple of weeks, much earned, and his daughters were concerned because they wanted to know why Joe wasn't calling them.
But I still got a lot of mail from Andrew.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah. We still call you.
Can't avoid it.
Yes, we're all over it.
Well, thanks for doing this, guys. Appreciate it.
This was great, as always, a great event, and I love doing it in Rome, your house. I'm sure you do too, because you don't have to drive far. But it's always great, and to be able to do it here at the Rome Capitol is a pretty cool thing, because it is a beautiful facility. I got a couple things I got to do before we get out. You can start the new year debt-free and stress-free with GPO Federal Credit Union. Simplify your finances with a balanced transfer rates as low as 3.99% APR for 12 months, or consolidate high-interest debt into one manageable payment with their personal loans. Plus, it doesn't stop there. GPO has partnered with Balance, a program to provide you with free virtual or in-person sessions with financial advisors. Together, they will create a personalized plan to help you take control of your finances and achieve your goals. Why wait? Let the GPO start fresh with you in 2025. Visit GPOFCU.com or stop by any branch as well. Debt-free, stress-free. Start your journey with GPO today. Subject to credit approval, membership eligibility required. Rates and terms based on credit worthiness. Balance transfer rates reverts back to normal card rate after the 12th month. Contact GPO for more information. And brought to you by the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. They're accepting new patients right now. Call the Falcon Clinic at 315-507-4751. They're the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic. If you're in need of a new family doctor, Dr. Shemileski, Dr. Zielinski, other physicians, all under one roof, they have you covered. Call them today and schedule an appointment. 315-507-4751, the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. Rick, nice and tight on that microphone. And, we do have John. I was wondering if we would. I want to thank you, by the way, for allowing us to be here.
Well, thanks for coming down.
And did the Dylan movie get nominated?
I don't know.
Okay.
But I'm sure it probably did.
I'm sure it
did.
did.
They're over there tallying up the votes, because it is a competition.
It is.
There's no money involved, but there's lots of prizes.
Okay, fair enough. So the competition over there to see who made the right choices.
Yes, competition who picked the most correct nominations.
I love it. Thank you for your hospitality.
And did you get enough heat? Is it
it's
warm enough?
warm as can be here. In fact, maybe a little too warm. Let me go to John Decker, who's the chief White House correspondent with Gray TV. John, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you. It's been a busy week. Donald Trump's being sworn in on Monday, hitting the ground running with all of the executive orders that he signed thus far, even the pardons that he also signed in his first week in office. And that first week, not over yet, Bill. It's going to be a busy Thursday and Friday. And he's traveling this week, and he's going to Asheville to see the damage associated with Hurricane Helene, out to California to see the damage associated with the wildfires, also to Nevada, then down to Mar-a-Lago, and then back to the White House on Monday night.
Boy, and he's going to see the fire in real time, because this latest fire is not even close to being contained.
Yeah, it's just terrible. Feel so badly for the people and the communities out there impacted by these fires. And, that's important that Trump is going to be doing this as part of his first trip outside the White House.
And then 15 seconds, John. What a week it has been. You've been a part of witnessing history, and we just enjoy getting your take on everything that's going on. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much. Thanks for always having me on. We'll have a lot to talk about. I think it's a safe bet to say over the course of the next 4 years.
Yes,
so I look forward to talking to you next Thursday as well, Bill.
All right, John. Have safe travels. Thank you so much. We'll break. News is coming up, top of the hour.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome,
W295EI,
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
The Trump immigration crackdown's underway. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. More U.S. troops are going to the southern border as federal agents start going after illegal immigrants.
The 1,500 soldiers and Marines deploying right now represent a 60% increase from the already 2,500 that are there, and it comes as ICE's enforcement and removal officers have been hitting the streets across the country, launching early morning raids targeting